Welcome to the first of the shootouts for the ADAC GT Masters Esports Championship in 2020. A high-pressure environment is at play today as 5 drivers try to fight their way onto the main grid. 2 tracks ahead of us, and the first of which is Oschersleben, myself, McGlade, Rob Wiesenmüller alongside me, and what a crazy field we have ahead of us.
Hello everyone, hello Lewis. Yes indeed, ADAC GT Masters Esports Championship. It's coming back, and that will be quite a special race here. The first shootout out of 4. Just taking a look here at the calendar. 2 races today, Oschersleben and Autodrom Most, 40 minutes each with the mandatory pit stop. And the best 5 drivers of these 2 races combined, and we have a little points standing, a little mini championship. Best 5 drivers, they will qualify for the main season and compete for 80,000 euros.
Yeah, excellent prize pool up for grabs. And the first of those shootouts, as you say, Oschersleben and Autodrom Most, going to be an interesting one. Of course, we've got lots of different cars that all of the drivers have chosen. And realistically, you need to make sure that you get a good round here at Oschersleben and that you qualify well at Autodrom Most. Because we've had a few races at Most before, and we know that it's one that's very, very difficult to overtake on. So it's important to go into that with confidence and make sure that you're in the right frame of mind. Of course, there's the schedule for today. The races come thick and fast.
Yes, indeed. You need to be pushing really hard. Less than 4 tenths separated all of the drivers who qualified for this event. So it's an extremely tight field, something that we haven't seen in this form on RaceRoom before, except maybe in the WTCR. But even there, it's front-wheel driven cars. He has completely different machineries, GT3 cars. We've got 5 different cars on the grid.
It's not even just that. When you think of the competitive nature of the field, we've got a lot of very, very strong drivers. You can see there the 5 different cars that we have, the pluses and minuses, as it were, of each car. I'm sure you could take us through them, Rob.
Yes, indeed. So people could choose between 5 cars, and actually all of the 5 cars will be represented here in the race, which is makes me very happy to see that the balance of performance is working here. Audi is especially quite hard to drive, strong in qualifying though. Only 2 Audis on the grid. The BMW, we expect a good performance at Most from the car. And the fastest man in pre-qualifying, Baldi, has picked this car. And the Corvette, bit of an underdog. Pretty solid car in the middle. Good top speed, but can't really play out the strengths here. Mercedes, the all-rounder, the car that almost everyone drove in the qualifier. It's got 15 extra kilos of ballast weight for this race. And then the Porsche, the new Porsche, the monster at the start. It'll be really interesting to see which car comes out on top, and I wouldn't be surprised if you've got 2 different manufacturers winning the 2 races.
Oh, absolutely. And also how strategy is going to play into the mix. Of course, it's a 40-minute race that we're going to have, and in that time they have to make a single pit stop. They can change 2 or 4 tyres, although we're expecting 2 from everyone. It just depends then on whether it's going to be the front and the rear. We discussed this prior to the event, that we think the Audis and the Porsches will probably definitely take rears, but most people should take rears, but the odd person that takes the front, a bit of a gamble, might pay out towards the end of the race.
Yes, and we've seen gambles in the shootout last year, and if you want to get a little bit of the taste of the action already, we've got the best scene from last year's shootout here at Oschersleben, and just check it out while the drivers get ready for the qualifying session.
Everyone's going for a move. They all fancy a bite of the Vermont pie. And I think the Moritz Lerner, just didn't have the best exit. Nose to tail across the line. 3 minutes remaining. That should be 3 more laps left on the clock. And down the inside goes Santos of turn 1. Contact between the 2.
And Lerner on the inside.
And Lerner goes up the inside. He gets the cutback. Is it going to be 2 in 1? Yes, it is. He's gone to the supermarket. It's buy one, get one free. And Lerner, with the best tyres and with arguably the best car for this circuit, has now retaken the lead at the best possible opportunity. And that was amazingly beautiful foresight of the situation, and it's paid off wonderfully well.
Wow, excellent racing. I'm sure we'll see more of that this evening. Just a little bit of a technical issue, so just hang on for a moment whilst we just try and catch ourselves back up. But an interesting circuit for us to race at, Oschersleben, one that has provided some great racing over the previous events that we've done, and certainly one that will provide some good racing, especially with that strategy bonus. Points up for grabs. So the top 5 that score over the 2 races will move on to the main grid, and that's where things get very, very interesting. It's going to be a tough one for the teams and drivers. Of course, some teams only have the single driver. Others have a couple. Williams Esports fielding plenty of cars across the series. Then you've got newer teams to the RaceRoom environment, such as AAA Esports. Hanuyovsky behind that one. They might be a little bit in for a shock from some of these teams. We'll just have to wait and see if they can figure it out. It's going to be great to see some of these bigger names from across esports taking part. Of course, we've got those from the likes of Alpha2 to Project Cars all over the place, all coming over here to race in RaceRoom for the ADAC GT Masters. What a fantastic field it is. Strength of field through the roof. Definitely one that I wouldn't be taking part in. Having a chat with a lot of drivers trying to qualify for this championship, and even that was stressful enough. A bit all over the place. Of course, having a field so strong, Rob said earlier that it was only 4/10 that separated the top bunch of drivers, which realistically might even sound monstrously large, but it is a tiny gap for such a large field of talented drivers. And we're even missing, we'll get into that in qualifying, we're missing some of RaceRoom's top echelon. I saw Moritz Lerner's lap. He's not here today, but he did a lap, uploaded it to YouTube. Go and check it out. Fantastic lap in the Mercedes, and wow, he was really throwing it around the circuit. I think he was towards the top. He set it was the fastest time at the moment that he set it, as far as I remember. Incredibly quick time, and so shame that he's not here, but he will be here for the next one in a couple of weeks' time. That's where things will get very interesting for that lot. It might be good for them to stay out just for the first round. Of course, 5 from each event, which means we get 20 at the end after the 4 qualifiers. And then we'll have our grid set. 5 going through today. I wouldn't really want to be making my predictions. I can predict 1 or 2 that will go in, but the rest, no idea. I'm probably going to say like Jack Keithley will be able to get his way in, although sometimes in the race he does get a bit too hot-headed. We'll have to see if 2020 is the year for Keithley. Not sure if either Oschersleben or Most are his strongest circuit. I'm pretty sure it was Jack Keithley and Moritz Lerner who won at Most in the Bodensee live event. I'm pretty sure it was. Well, that's really throwing my memory back. Just trying to sort out these technical issues. It's just a server thing. Don't worry.
Yes, and I'm back as well. Sorry for that.
Woo!
Just had to quickly change some settings here, so we're ready for the race. Unfortunately, a little misconfiguration. We had to swap servers in the last minute to change to prevent the lag issues that we had in the Bathurst 333 race. That hindered us quite a bit there. So should be back now. Let's see if we can get a picture from the game.
Yeah, it wasn't. It's a shame because it was a fun event. It was nice to go to Bathurst to start the year. Sometimes though, it is good to have like a slightly smaller event just to kick things off. But we can see we are back in the game, so we'll allow everyone to hop back in, and then we'll get into qualifying. And then what, Rob? Who's getting pole here?
Yeah, so I just picked up a little bit. We had the race, of course, at Most at the Bodensee event last year. It was the deciding race. And it was not Keithley and Lerner who won because they got spun out. It was a big accident between Lerner and Johannes Weiss in the beginning of the race. And it was actually a race where Wisniewski drove the pole position. So Wisniewski, one of the drivers who's in the field here once again. Eventually the victory went to Florian Hasse and Julian Kunze, who are both not here today.
Oh yeah, that's right.
To Moritz Lerner, participating in the Super Racer Bootcamp, trying to get drive in a real racing car. So let's see what happens there. Probably expect them to be back at the second shootout.
Yeah, I was trying to make a bold prediction as to who's going through after these 2 races. Of course, very early to start predicting anything because we don't know who's on pole, we don't know who's doing this, we don't know who's doing that. I do actually think though that Erhan Yossi, because I've had the pleasure of commentating on Erhan and racing with him like a couple of times over the last year or so, a couple of years. I think he's got a good chance of going through. We saw he looks pretty quick in quali, and I know like he is a talented driver. So a bit of an outside bet, but I think he could get into the top 5.
Well, let's take a look at the entry list. We have a little bit of extra time, and you can see it's so stacked here. Second half of the field in the pre-qualifying. You have drivers like Richard Schäfer, who was in the last season, who qualified, Gianni Simoncic here, FSR World Champion, Giorgio Mangano from Gran Turismo. So some really big names, qualified quite far down the order. And of course only 5 people get in this time. So that means a couple of big names are certainly going to miss out.
Yeah, we know how quick Richard Schäfer is. I think we've seen his commendable qualities in RaceRoom come to light over the last couple of years. A very talented driver. Only 18th, as you say. Like that's maybe not what we would have expected. I know he's good in this car as well. But yeah, super strong grid. Of course, Gogo Baldi, the online WTCR Esports champion of 2019. Kuba Brzezinski, the one who did it at the live event as well.
Yeah, Kuba Brzezinski, he could do well here, especially at Oschersleben, driving a Porsche. He's currently in the pit lane, but that's the Porsche of Leon Rüdinger, which looks quite similar. The Porsches, we expect good things from them, especially at the start of the race.
Yeah, we've been saying about those monster starts. Of course, those of you that are familiar with racing around Oschersleben, you might not expect that first complex that we're going through now. Of course, normally when we have racing at Oschersleben, well, at least from my experience, you go through the slow left, right. Whereas this one, we're taking the fast one, which is, I think, to most drivers preferable because at least, it's a bit of fun.
Yeah, adds a lot of flow to the circuit. The circuit has a lot of flow. It's not easy to overtake, but it's definitely possible in the GT3 car. So usually in the past, we've seen great racing here. And now we're in the qualifying session, and now it's looking quite good. And we will see the usual at the start here, everyone going out at the same time.
Yeah, I remember you having a massive problem with this. And I remember that driver briefing back in Nürburgring, just being like, why are we all going out at the same time? You can have a little breather. But no, everyone's desperate to get on with the racing. Of course, a very technical circuit. I won't butcher the pronunciations of all the corners. I'm just trying to assign numbers to them before I insult anyone. But of course, one circuit, once you get out of that hairpin at turn 3, that's where the flow really picks up on this circuit. You go through these very quick kinks left, just constantly tightening, then heavy on the brakes before you swing it to the right, and you've got this super high speed chicane. It is flat out as far as I remember, and then you're heavy on the brakes for this long right hander onto this back straight. This is where you're going to see some well, probably not from this lot, but where I'd expect to see mistakes, because that corner is so tricky. It's very easy to get the car slightly unweighted. Ooh, that was a bit ambitious.
As either Dorniden or Benedek, they're sharing a skin here. BMW quite popular after struggling in the preseason, and Kuba Brzezinski, he's the first one out on track. So let's go on board with him for one hot lap around Oschersleben.
Yeah, keep an eye on where he's going to be picking out his braking zone. Kuba Brzezinski, an immensely talented driver, obviously driving for Williams Esports, one of their biggest teams in RaceRoom at the moment. Look at the commitment. Very nice. Find out what kind of time this is going to be at the end of it, but knowing Kuba, it'll probably be a good one to start off with. Not trying to jinx him.
Bit wide here in the hairpin, a good exit. Now the trickiest corner for the Porsche, because he's got a lot of understeer here. Triple apex corner. Packs the curb on the inside. Even a bit careful, I would say. It's very wide here. Careful on the throttle. Sounds like he's running not on a lot of traction control. Rather balances it out with his foot. Donald's chicane. Now up to the back straight.
Yeah, but a decent lap so far, if maybe a bit cautious at time, giving some slipstream to the rest of the GT field behind him as he throws it through this quite tricky chicane. Right, left, can't use too much of the curbs, you'll really throw the car off, and then 2 more rights to finish off the lap. And then he's balanced it out. You can use quite a lot of that Astro, or tarmac rather, on the left-hand side before you head into pit lane. Then slightly more, I think it's about a 100-degree corner to get us round the final one, and then towards the line, and across the start of the first lap. 23.483. It's a decent start.
That's a pretty good start,
Pretty
I would
decent
say.
start.
23.3, the fastest time we saw in practice from Jack Keithley, so that's very close. And this man, Jack Keithley, just jumps up to pole position in the Mercedes here with the 0.3. Always delivers when it matters. Oh, and look at the Polish drivers lining up behind him. Dominik Blaja, complete rookie to RaceRoom from the DV1 Triton Racing team. Did a lot of iRacing before. Now he's here at RaceRoom and with a very, very strong performance. Mercedes in front and 2 Porsches. The BMW's struggling a little bit at the moment.
Yeah, I said it's great to see that all these drivers from all over the place, all over sim racing, coming to RaceRoom to take part in this, and it's nice to have the competition. Whilst I did watch Jack Keithley. I don't know if anyone caught the Bathurst race. He was so strong in qualifying; it was absolutely insane. His ability to constantly pull the good laps out was kind of like making me think that maybe this could be the year for Jack Keithley. If he can do these kind of quali results where he sets such an impressive time in the pre-quali, but then he can match up by doing it in the qualifying session and not make those big mistakes. We've seen some mistakes out of Keithley, let's be honest, over the last couple of years. Maybe he's sorting out. Oh, Gasly gets to the final corner and spins it out. Not so great.
Oh, and Jajoski goes to second. As one of the guys who hasn't done so much racing, but is very accomplished in the sim racing world. Participated in the world's fastest gamer too. Was in the final, very close to winning the prize. Ahead of guys like Andre Santos, who's on a good lap though. Santos up to P5 now.
Decent time. Again, of course, we have 2 races to this evening today. So don't forget to keep watching. Of course, we're here in Oschersleben. We head to Autodrom Most afterwards. Keep an eye on that action. Hani Jovski comes out of the pit lane. He's going to go round to give it another go. Bence Banky, P10 at the moment. BMW is not suiting him too strong. Definitely just ahead. Maybe not the strongest car around this, but we did say, like you said before, it should come into its own in the next race. Gogo Bowdy goes to 9th as well.
Yes, and let's talk a little bit about the point system. You got 25 points for a win, then 20, 16, 13, 11, and 10. So you're not 100% qualified when you win a race, but you've got a pretty good chance of winning a race. However, when you're like down in P10 or so, that's an area where you only get 6 points. Then you really need to deliver in the next race, because consistency can pay off. Someone who finishes like 4th 2 times or 3rd and 4th, he will score more points than you. So definitely a big challenge here for the BMWs, who are struggling a bit on Oschersleben to get the points against the Mercedes here, against the Porsches, to even have a chance at Most, because we've got I would say 4 BMWs with top drivers in them. We've got Baldi, we've got David Notch, we've got Alexander Dorniden and Bence Banky. So yeah, they can't all win at Most.
No. Well, that's going to be an impressive one for that lot. There's, like you said, there is some strong drivers in that field. Alex Dorniden, I know he's down in 23rd at the moment, but just a reminder, 2019 Cupra Sim Racing Series champion, reigning into 2020. A very strong driver. Look at this lap time from Kuba Brzezinski, though. This is a phenomenal time coming in. What's he going to do as he hits the line? Ooh.
It's no improvement.
No, I was going to say, I was looking at my screen expecting to see a massive improvement. Maybe that Merc of Jack Keithley is good in the final sector. Is it still fixed setup, this?
Yeah, it is fixed
I was
setup.
going to say, I thought so.
You can change a few things. That's the brake bias, brake pressure, and also the traction control preset. So drivers can choose how much traction control they want to run, but it's only between 0%, 20%, 40%, 60%, and so on. Yeah, Jovski could go on pole, yeah. Same car as Keithley. And a bit of a slipstream. Might even be Keithley ahead of him.
I was going to say, it is one of those cars. And Jovski to the line. What's it going to be?
Oh, it's
It is
pole.
going to be pole.
Oh.
It is going to be pole. 370.
What a nice lap.
Wow.
There's
A very
Wisniewski.
talented young man.
That's even quicker. You can recognize Wisniewski with the car with the orange mirrors. Keithley has the blue mirrors, and number 20, Wisniewski 21. Up to P3.
Third. Very nice. Not much to separate that lot at the top. Only a few hundredths of a second. He's now up there with his close friend, Kuba Brzezinski, in fourth position at the moment. Looking back at Mike Stoffmeal, a Corvette out on grid. Always good to see.
Shout out to Mike Stoffmeal. He was the first one to take another car than Porsche and Mercedes, so he deserves this shout out on the stream from Virtual Drivers by TX3. Actually, probably one of the older drivers on the grid with 29 years. But still doing well, coming from the RaceRoom communities like ESR. Now has been signed by Virtual Drivers by TX3. And yeah, looking quite strong in the Corvette. Well, not in the qualifying, but definitely in the testing before the event. So let's see what we can expect from him. And of course, there's also another car that we haven't seen yet. That's the Audi. Gianni Simoncic is in P8. Now going down to P9 because Garcia improved. Or was it Chihan? Because Chihan also up to P5.
I think it might have been Chihan, yeah. Yeah, no, it's. I think I might have been Chihan who did that improvement. But yeah, Gianni Simoncic, of course, a driver known in sim racing across plenty of time in his career. He's been around for a while as the Slovenian. Here is a privateer. Of course, the FSR reigning world champion. Done very, very good things over there over the last few years, and finally took that first championship after a completely dominant season. Now moving over into some GTs. Of course, their VEC champion as well, Simoncic.
Leon Rüdinger up to the top 10, another Virtual Drivers driver. Didn't expect him to do so well here.
No, that is an impressive time. Very strong in the Porsche. Seeing these Porsches off the start is going to be interesting. Kuba Brzezinski, by the way, pole. Brzezinski onto pole. 3:11.
Nice time.
Very nice. Are we going to see a 2 here in qualifying? Well, I think we're going to need to if we're going to see a change for that pole position. That is an impressive time from Kuba Brzezinski. What a time to be in racing competition with all this going on. Madness. Gergo Baldi only 14.
Yeah. And he's still ahead of Bunky, for example. Bunky is only 16th.
Yeah, of course, Banky, an immensely talented driver himself, 2018 WTCR Esports champion, if I remember correctly. Very, very strong driver. We've seen plenty of wins from him over the last couple of years. But at the moment, maybe this BMW is a bit of a gamble. Like, see if you can get a good race here at Oschersleben and then focus on Autodrom Most. However, like you said before, that gamble might not be paying off, because if you don't get a good result here, you might as well kiss the top 5 goodbye.
Yeah, look at Alexander Dorny down at P25. So, he probably needs to win at Most. And this is his performance, because it's still not going to be easy to charge through the field here. Let's give a shout out to some of the rookies here in this race. Marko Pejic, privateer driver in the Corvette. Oh, and Wisniewski goes up to P2. Just have to jump there for a moment. Good in Wisniewski, so it's an old Polish front row. Wisniewski and Brzezinski. And teammates forever.
Yeah, discussing this in the Bathurst race. These two, like, I was racing with them as teammates back when they were in 2015. They have been teammates for such a long time. Emery Chihan to the line, stays 5th. But whatever it is that works between those two poles, it works. They are like the best of friends. When we see them at the live event, they're always around each other, bless them. It's good when you get a teammate you really get along with, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Andre Santos, Euronics Gaming, all alone here. No teammates of him in the race. That's a bit of an unusual scenario. Usually, Euronics Gaming, the most represented team on the grid. This time it certainly goes to Williams. And not a lot of qualifying is left here. And we see the Porsche on pole, and then a lot of Mercedes. Garcia in P7. And then only in P8 the first of the next Porsches, Dominic Blaya, Simoncic, the only other car in the top 10 in the Audi.
Yeah, kind of surprised to see Risto Capit, by the way, outside the top 10 at the moment. Only down in 11th position is Risto Capit. See if he can improve it to the line. Does to 10th, but only 10th.
Yeah, but only 3 tenths off.
Of course, teammate of Hanya Yovsky. Those two have been teammates for a few months now. Partnership that is working quite well elsewhere. Risto Capit obviously bringing a fair amount of experience in RaceRoom. Not an overwhelming amount of experience, but a fair one. Of course, he's been to the was at the LAN event. Of course.
Yeah,
in
he
the
was.
Bodensee.
He actually participated in the LAN event in Frankfurt, where he got his first taste of RaceRoom. So it's good to see him doing some more work here on RaceRoom, because it's just one of these competitions with 80,000 euro prize pool that just draws in the best drivers from all different simulations. And, you know, even from games that some people don't even consider simulations. We have Giorgio Mangano on the grid, who's been very successful on Gran Turismo. And several drivers from Project Cars coming here. I think it's great. I think it really shows the quality of the series and the quality of the field. And the qualifying session here is almost over. Oh, and there's Leon Rüdinger spinning off. He was purple. What a performance by Leon Rüdinger here.
Yeah, P9. Very, very nice. Keep an eye on Nikodem Wisniewski's done the first sector. It's looking decent. Running out towards the second. Will it look any better? No, I don't think so. He's off. He's done.
Yeah.
I don't know if he wasn't too happy there at the Merc in front. Jack Keithley.
Keithley only P4. We will be disappointed with that.
Let's see if he can improve anywhere on the final lap as he comes out towards the line. Going to absolutely keep it pinned as he go from 4th to 2nd. There we go. Breaks up his fellow teammates.
Look how close he got to Brzezinski. 4,000s only.
Madness. Madness. What a grid we have got lining up for the first race. Brzezinski didn't fancy completing that one, but I believe the pole goes to the pole. As we've only got a few seconds left of the qualifying session. I don't know if anyone can improve that time.
Oh, Baldi up to P9.
Yeah, P9, I did see that. Just that could be very, very handy. We know Gogo Baldi is a very, very smart racer as well, so he could do good things from P9. The Hungarian driver, well experienced.
Williams
on the grid.
Esports, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, AAA. P4. I believe it's AAA's. Well, it's one of AAA's. Like first, we did speak about and has done one before, but AAA aren't experienced on the side of RaceRoom, so it's good to see them up in 4th in such a competitive championship. The first race, though, once again, as a reminder, it is a 40-minute race. They will make one pit stop across the duration of this race, and they can change 2 or 4 tyres. We're expecting the rears to be changed. Of course, we won't actually know just whether it's a longer pit stop or not, and that's the schedule for the day. We're heading to Autodrom Most after the completion of this 40-minute race. We're slightly behind on schedule thanks to the server issues, but we'll be racing through these. Don't you worry. Who is going to come out on top here?
Too close to make a prediction. See the cars here lining up. That's the car of I think it should be Jack Keithley there.
Yeah,
so we're actually not seeing the car of the pole sitter yet. Just waiting for all the cars to appear on the grid. Then we can change the camera angle. There we go, Kuba Brzezinski on pole position. Lights are red.
And who's going to come out on top of this one? That Porsche should get a very healthy start down towards T1, and off he goes. So Kuba Brzezinski, it wasn't amazing. Look at that from Erhan Yuyovski in 4th position, going to be challenged down the inside of the Williams drivers as we head towards the first corner for that very first time in the shootout. It is Brzezinski leading Keithley, leading Yuyovski. He has jumped the first one, but he's going to lose out here as he's hung out straight. Oh, who's that spinning? That's,
it's Cihan.
Cihan's dropping down the order massively. The Turk just not quite getting that right. I think he might have got a bit of a bump there. Nikodem Wisniewski does regain 3rd position. Erhan Yuyovski in 4th, so that has gone back his way. Andre Santos in 5th position. Bleyer's made it an absolutely brilliant storming start of the 6th position. Fantastic for him. Nestor Garcia and Gogo Baldi 7th and 8th. So Baldi also making some decent progress, but Kuba Brzezinski just trying to hold out in front from his teammate Jack Keithley and the Mercedes contingent behind.
And it just showed again the Porsches, they can do great starts here. Dominic Bleyer proving it. Going all the way up the order. Everyone's staying kind of calm there. Bad luck for Cihan, who practiced a lot. Down to P20. Big blow to his chances. Of course, there will be post-race stewards like in every race from competition. I'm sure the scene will be investigated.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's not really going to do very much for him because, of course, it's not going to regain him the positions that he's already lost, but he'll do his best in this race to try and recover some points. Risto Capit's dropping down the order as well. I don't know what's happened to Risto Capit, but he has dropped down to 23rd position. He's off the road. Oh, my goodness me, that's not gone well for AAA Esports. Risto Capit all the way down at the back of the order behind Mangano, which is not a driver I would expect to be all the way down there as well. Kubrzinski, though, look at the pressure. Again, they may be teammates, but we spoke about this.
Oh, Baldi side by side with Garcia.
Oh, making more progress. Don't think he's going to be able to get this one done, though. He's going to try and stick it around the outside. He's going to try and hang on, but he's going to be on the outside anyway as we come towards the triple apex left-hander. So either way, I don't think that was going to work, but he's trying to muscle his way up in that BMW.
Look how much time it costs Garcia here. Losing the back of Blyer.
Which would be great for Blyer because he can just focus on the car ahead, but it means that if Gogo Bally does get by, he's got a lot of work to do to close that gap. Ben's Banky up to 11th position as well, so he's making some decent progress in that BMW. They need to score some decent points here before we head to Most, because as much as that BMW should be good at Most, oh, he's having a cheeky look there, but didn't decide it. As much as they need to make the most of Most, they need to make the most of this as well.
Just had a question.
Doing it.
Just had a question in the chat. Is damage on? Yes, damage is on indeed. Full damage. So also the new suspension damage. Drivers need to be really careful here. If they make contact with other cars, or also run through the gravel, because it can certainly slow you down for the rest of the race.
Yeah, I'm sure these guys are very talented drivers, but I don't think overcoming some monstrous damage to the car is going to be one of their things. Jesper Eriksson trying to make a move. Oh, it's Chihan getting by the way, sorry. So Chihan trying to recover some positions. That was tight, and it's going to be tight continuing through T2. I think Jesper Eriksson might have this one.
That's some brilliant driving there.
Chihan just doesn't get by. If he would have kept that overlap, we would have the inside into here. And now he's being under attack by Mike Stoffmeal as well. Oh, Chihan's got a lot of work to do. There we go. Look at how close Stoffmeal is. Like you said, first guy to decide to change from the Merc. Again, deserves a bit of a shout out, especially from taking that Callaway. Very good, very nice looking car.
He's wide here though. And then look in the background, Simone Prater, he was last in qualifying, but with the Porsche has gained plenty of positions already, up to P21. All cars still running, and Banky going for a move on Simoncic.
Makes it stick as well into the chicane. Very nice. Simoncic kind of let him have that one after he decided, no, you've got the high ground, mate, I'll hang on. And now look at all this behind. So much going on behind Jane Simoncic.
Zoltan Suti. Suti ahead of Notch. These two are teammates from Mira Esports. Although they're driving different cars in the race. Suti in the black and white Mercedes. David Notch in the white and red BMW behind.
Zoltan Suti's been around in sim racing for a long time. I'm sure he knows how to muscle his way up an order. Currently in 12th position. Yeah, like you say, teammate directly behind, but we've said before...
Gian's been off again.
Oh, second corner as well. Wonder if there's contact involved in that. Maybe a bit of suspension issues there, or was that just cold tyres? Or dirty tyres, rather.
Could be the dirt on the tyres there, but... been off twice now, so wouldn't be surprised if there's a bit of damage on his car.
He did take quite a big thump, I think, at least from the inside barrier. May have been of his own volition as well. Courtesy of some damage picked up on the first lap of the race. So Emery Chihan down in 28th position. Unfortunately, might not go his way this evening. But of course, we've got 3 shootouts to follow this, so I'm sure an opportunity will arise. Definitely a quality driver. Kubrzinski, though, currently still leading the way. Only a 3/10 though clear of all of his teammates. Who's just going down the inside? Adamczyk trying to get down the inside of Murphy. Oh, he's going to sneak it down here at the second last. Oh, that's danger. That would have been brave. I would have some accommodation for that, but it's muscly up and down the order, isn't it, Rob?
Almost allowed Dawn even through. Look at Prater up already to P20.
Alex Dornaden down in 24th position. Madness. Simone Prater, he's using that Porsche very well.
Paul Dixon there. Big slide.
Bo Dixon's been an impressive driver. We spoke about his rise throughout the latter part of 2019 and now coming into 2020, seeing him on the grid with the big boys once again. It is great to see. It's very impressive through the couple of rounds he did in the Cooper Sim Racing Series. Keeping an eye from Murphy. BMW. Oh, sorry, BMW. Audi. I'll get there eventually, don't worry. Against Callaway. Watch him throw it through the chicane. I say that's such bravery because with the fixed setup you can't really do very much on a setup, and that bump in the middle of that chicane is lethal. Wow, that's a bit of contact there.
Marko Pejic. That was Marko Pejic against Mironovic. Two drivers who make their debut here. Just testing out a little bit how the contact physics work on RaceRoom.
You've got to do it sometimes, haven't you? I don't know if we only caught the end of that. I don't know if Pejic sent it down the inside, but a little bit of a rub there. There's Kuba Brzezinski leading the order. Keithley, Wisniewski, Yujovski, Santos. Santos is doing a good job in fifth. Still hanging on to the back end of this train. Blair, and I think Blair's just dropped off the back of it.
Pejic has just gone around.
Bit of a shame. Now we're in 29th. Yeah, I think Blair's just dropping off the back of that lot, the top five. Just maybe struggling. Getting used to RaceRoom, of course. Dropping back into the clutches of Nesta Garcia and Gergo Baldi, two fairly decently experienced drivers in RaceRoom. Baldi not able to get by the Merc thus far. I'm sure we'll give it a cheeky lunge at some point. He's quite close now, is Gergo, but maybe not in the right position to attack the Mercedes. Nice to see all the different manufacturers up and down the order. Blair's doing a very good job as well. Ben Spanky, BMW.
You can see how fast the BMWs are on race pace. Spanky has already passed in Monchich. He's caught the gap to Rüdinger.
Yeah, it certainly is. Those if this maintains its course throughout the race, especially when we close in on those pit stops, we're already nearly 10 minutes down in this, so pit stops could be coming probably a bit later in the race, naturally.
Lane should open in 1 minute, so we will see who goes in early. Oh, Ulrich has gone past Dorniden.
Dorniden muscled back down to 24th. He was gained fortune of an issue earlier. I think Chihan that was the one that gained him an extra position. Lost it back though, down to 24th. Not a position that Dorniden is accustomed to. Looking back towards Ben Spanky. True talent. Rüdinger though really proving his worth, his meat in this Porsche. But we did speak about this, that the Porsche struggles a lot on its rear tyres, so potentially through the next, if you're pitting at halfway and trying to change the rear tyres, maybe over the next 10 minutes this Porsche may just start to struggle. Zoltan Stuti, by the way, I think they switched and then switched back. Maybe it was just my eye. Racing hard though between teammates.
And Benedek is the first one in.
Immediately in. Oh. You in.
Actually, they're a little bit confusing. The pictures of the cars are swap. Benedek is in the white car. Dorniden is in the blue one. They are pitting already. Even Murphy as well. I think he overshot his pit box.
He definitely did. He definitely did.
Ooh, that's not a nice picture.
Nope. Oh, Wisniewski. Oh, is that just a timing thing? Yeah. I think just a bit of a timing thing, thinking that Haniyovsky and Nikita Wisniewski were battling it out there. They were not. Can Yovsky though find a way by the Macedonian? Taking on RaceRoom. Seriously, he's taking on RaceRoom, taking on some of our strongest drivers. Dorniden, fresh from a pit stop. The leader of those, that trio that has stopped.
I think Gillison has also stopped. Well, it's not showing up.
It doesn't show it. Yeah, I was going to say the markers, as I'm sure it's fairly obvious. Oh, Jack Keithley.
Yeah, Keithley coming into the pits now.
Yeah. The markers, red marker means you've not stopped. You've not fulfilled that commitment to a single stop. The green marker does mean you have.
Baldi and Bunky in as well.
It could be very handy to pit early and get out of the flow of traffic and get some fresh air. The only person who doesn't really want to do that at the moment is Kuba Brzezinski, who's just lapping it up, the fresh air, setting the times he wants to be setting, and feeling comfortable doing it. There we have Jack Keithley, his main threat in this race, leaving the pit lane. Now, knowing Jack Keithley, he is going to come out of the pit lane and he is going to set some storming lap times to try and jump Brzezinski in the pit stop sequence. And knowing Jack Keithley, it's definitely a thing on the cards at the moment. And if you were the head of Williams Esports, maybe that's how you'd kind of want to do it, rather than having your drivers battle it out. We saw some intense battling from all of the Williams Esports drivers, particularly in that final race in Malaysia in the online championship. There's a bit of paintwork switching between the cars.
Yeah, it's also in the history of the GT Masters Esports Championship. There have been cases where there's been collisions between the Williams Esports drivers. Wisniewski and Keithley collided at the Red Bull Ring once. Beta has just gone past Dixon here. And I think it was Gassner who was also switching positions with Notch. Oh, and there's someone off. That's Thorsten Ulrich, I think. Looked like he missed a pit entry there.
Made it work though. There's Zoltan Schuty looking down the inside of Jene Simicic. Is he able to make it work? Oh, it's just a 50-50 lunge there, and I think he might have actually done this. Going to use that Mercedes grunt off the corner towards the triple, but decides not to take advantage. And Jene Simicic manages to hang on to what is currently 8th position. That was pretty tight there. It wasn't a move I would have been looking for. I don't think he intended to give him a little bit of a nudge. David Nosh in and out of the pit lane. Gergo Baldi made some decent progress through his pit stop, I think.
We'll see when the drivers pit, but it looks like the gap between Baldi and Keithley has come down a little bit.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was looking at. I was like, I think he's done quite a good job. Zoltan Schuty though, Merc versus Audi, trying to use that grunt. But Jene Simicic is a hard driver to pass. I've come across that a few times. Race. Oh, Simicic. Boom. Curious that Brzezinski's in if those tyres are struggling or will struggle towards the end of the race, or maybe he's just trying to cover off Jack Keithley. This is where things get interesting. He has definitely closed up some distance on that. Has Gergo Baldi. He's definitely closing in on Jack Keithley. Not to say that he's probably gonna go for the lead or whatever, but I think he's going to make some decent progress here, which could help him coming towards Most. Wrestling it over the curb. This is on board with Jack Keithley.
And we will see where Brzezinski comes out now.
Is it still going to be ahead? Is it going to be behind? Has Jack Keithley done enough? Where is he? Flinging it through the chicane. There he is. Kuba Brzezinski stays ahead. And has distanced himself as well. That has been a good end to the stint for Kuba Brzezinski. And what a start to the shootout it would be if Kuba Brzezinski could pick up the full 25.
He has jumped Santos.
Oh, could be a net 5th. Maybe more if the lap times are getting better as well. Because if it's I'd more say it's Yuyovski who'd be under threat from a speedy Gergo Baldi. And not for the first time in his sim racing career. Yuyovski, Wisniewski both in the pit lane. Blair hanging out and now taking the lead of the race. Things are getting exciting. Oh, Nesta Garcia also stays out.
Rudinger now up to P3. We'll once again take the Keithley cam to see where everyone else is coming out.
Good lead for Kuba Brzezinski. Very healthy.
I think Keithley might get jumped here by Wisniewski.
He wouldn't want that. He certainly wouldn't. We'll keep an eye and see if we can see the car coming out of the pit lane. Again, I think they could be side by side. Going to fling it across the chicane.
Where is Wisniewski?
Where is he? There we go, behind.
Oh, Yuyovski and Baldi collided.
I'm assuming that's just coming out of pit lane. There's just been contact out of pit lane. Gergo Baldi.
Yeah, Jovski was the one who left the pit lane. Oh, that's a controversial one.
It is. Of course, we unfortunately couldn't see the incident, unless, well, we caught the very end of it. So we're unable to really judge that on this stream at present, unfortunately.
What a shame for Garibaldi after such a good race.
Yeah. And he's now dropped down behind the other BMWs, Banky, Naj as well. Oh, that is a shame.
And remember,
a mighty shame.
The top 5 of this race, well, the top 5 of the 2 races combined will qualify for the full season. So points really matter here. And Ben's Bunky now in the top 5 position in the BMW.
Yeah.
We don't
of
know,
course,
of course, where Blair is coming out.
Blair and Garcia as well. Yet to stop. Rudinger as well. So doing an impressive job. Further people pitting. Simone Prater. I believe Gassner. Yeah, Gassner's also been in the pit lane.
Oh, drive-through penalty for Gassner. That's his race over.
Yeah.
Speeding in the pit lane.
Might as well, yeah. Kiss the first race goodbye. Unfortunately, a very costly mistake in a championship as competitive as this. Ooh, this is Erhan Yovski. Oh, is it? Yeah, it's Erhan Yovski trying to get his way back up. Gets by Mark Gassner. Just trying to recover as many points as he can from the first race of the evening. Oh, very curious to see what happened there on the replay. Was it Yovski trying to rejoin the circuit? Was it Garibaldi maybe overdoing the corner? Did the two just meet? It's not the best pit lane exit in the world, let's be honest. Blair in the pit lane. The pole from the lead. Nesta Garcia now takes over. The Spaniard at the top. Seeing that Mercedes flinging it around towards turn 3. We'll see where Blair actually comes out in comparison to, I'd more say like Santos. I kind of get the feeling that he's going to be behind Andre Santos still. Was just losing the touch from the German over the course of the latter part of that first stint. Did a very good job at the start. There he is. Yeah, he's miles behind. Ooh.
That's David Notch. Oh, and that's tight. Notch ahead of Blair. And this is a surprise because David Notch was quite a far way behind in this race. And with this race pace of the BMW, he's seriously turning out to be a contender here for a top 5.
It was Ben Banky, the one that I was trying to work out that went by. Yeah, he's lost out quite a bit there as Blair.
That's Bunky in the foreground, then Notch, then Blair, and then Erhan Yovski.
Yovski could still pull some decent points in this. I mean, so can Garibaldi as well. We know the talent of the pair of them. They can still pull a decent position and a decent points haul in this first race. But I've got to give some commendability towards Ben Banky. That's a bit under the radar at the moment, but he's doing a fantastic job. Risto Capit, early issues, now going to take the lead. Of course, yet to stop. But yeah, unfortunately, some very early issues. We didn't see what happened to him. We just saw him off the road before the final 2 corners. Here comes Nesta Garcia out the pit lane. Where's Rudinger?
Oh, he's jumped Blair, and
Yeah.
he's jumped even jumped Ben's Bunky. So that was a much faster pit stop. Maybe Blair changed 4 tires.
Maybe his lack of experience in RaceRoom may suggest so, because he has lost out to pretty much everyone, and he wasn't like dropping behind before the stop. So yeah, I'd say a 4-tire stop is pretty likely for Dominic Blair. Could actually mean he gets a bit stronger towards the end of the race, though.
Certainly mean that, but it's still kind of difficult to overtake here.
Very much so. Rudiger, though, will be a net 7th come the pit stop sequence. Ben Banky will be a net 6th. So a pretty impressive drive from Rudiger. Running very wide there out of the chicane. There's going to be your race leader, Kuba Brzezinski, net race lead. will go his way 18 minutes into the race. I'm pretty sure either Capet and Payech might go as long as possible just to see if anything happens. He says that as Payech comes straight down pit lane. Was it Payech?
Yeah, it was Page.
Yeah. I think Risto might go as long as he possibly can. See what happens to the tyres when you actually push them to this limit on distance. Of course, most of the drivers would have done, well, I mean, I say that. A lot of the drivers would have done a lot of practice in the hot lap scenario where you don't have to worry about tyres. Come the race is a very, very different ball game. Gogo Baldi trying to make some further progress, some further gains back into this race. Richard Schaefer, the car directly ahead of him. Well-experienced German driver. He's done a good job in this race to move up into 12th position, it must be said. Oh, who's that from the background? Yeah. And Shooty going to try and go around the outside, but I don't think that one's going to stick. We'll keep an eye on Gogo Baldi. Look backwards, see if anything happens. Oh. Thought Shooty was going to get a cutback there. It's going to be really very nice.
Ericsson
Not the case.
doing a great job here. One of the youngest drivers in the grid. Didn't expect him to mix it with the guys like Gergo Baldi here in his first race, but he's doing a good job.
Yeah, very much so. That's the one thing about sim racing is age doesn't define speed. Maturity, maybe, but we've come across some fairly mature younger drivers that have still taken it to the top lot. But it's not a barrier to speed. Nestor Garcia, 6th position, will be 5th. Very, very good drive, but is coming under pressure from Ben Spanky. That BMW is so very good in the race, and if he can get a top 5 here, his hopes to get into the event in the first shootout for Ben Spanky would be in pretty good form heading into a track where we're expecting that BMW to be fairly potent. Gogo Baldi. Oh, there we go. Jumping back to him, right on the back of Richard Schaefer again. It's just about where to find moves. A track that's so flowing and so full of momentum, which is what we're going to see at Autodrom Most as well. It is so hard to find an overtaking opportunity. You really have to have belief in the car, to stick to the rear end of the car ahead and then throw it down the inside with absolute bravery and maybe a bit of Dutch courage. And just really go for it. You have to commit with a move in this series.
You can see also the differences of the cars. Aldi always a bit faster in mid-corner here, gaining the time. Out of the slow corners, he doesn't get a good exit though.
I think going into this corner is probably his best opportunity because you've got that long right-hander before it where you can really use the BMW to its fullest potential. The final corner, I think, is a little bit too much on the slow side for that BMW to really come into its own. And then that Mercedes grunt just allows it to pull away. There we go. Look at that. Off it goes. Going to have to be a very committed move from the Hungarian when he decides to pull the pin on that one. But I'm sure he's throwing everything he can to get by Richard Schaefer. Mark Gaster out of the race after that drive-through penalty.
Gillison also out of the race, and we lost one driver. One of the Mercedeses. I can't tell who it is actually at the moment. I think it might have been Mangano who's missing.
Yeah, I'd agree with that one. Risto Capet continuing to turn laps at the front end of the field. You can see our eventual race leader, Kiefer Brzezinski, behind in the black Porsche. But until the moment that this man heads down the pit lane, it will remain that way. He'll give his teammate Aniowski back a top 10 position when he does so. But at present, happy to just keep turning laps out in the front. It's nice to see his name at the top of the leaderboard, isn't it? Flyer. With what we believe is 4 fresh tyres, trying to plant the seed of what will be on the back of the Hungarian David Noj.
BMW also one of the cars that's very good on the tires, so it shouldn't slow him down too much that it's changed only 2 tires here. Let's see if Blyer can get in the position to make a move. Or Baldi's in the position now against Schaefer.
Looking down the inside, now the outside. Oh, there's near contact between the two. There is contact between the two, and there's going to be 3 wide. Oh, is that trying to go back down the inside for Jesper Eriksson? Oh, a bit of contact again. and somehow Richard Schaefer hangs on. Gergo Baldi loses the position. Now going to try and go around the outside is Jesper Eriksson. Not gonna make that one stick, surely, my good friend there. But definitely give it a good go. Fantastic move though at T2. And Richard Schaefer somehow hangs on to P12. Gergo Baldi won't be very happy with that. Look at that run though. Just trying to line up the apex a bit later. That's some fairly mature driving to try and get a great run off the corner. But that Mercedes in the mid-corner is doing quite well versus the Porsche. We know it's a bit of an understeery beast.
It was almost a repeat of Lerner's overtake in the shootout last year there from Ericsson. Just made a bit of contact with Richard Schaefer, almost spun, just kept it ahead of Gergo Baldi, who lost out the most in this attempt. And Rüdiger is dropping back. Oh, big impact there. That's the third to last corner.
Yeah. Potential to have run wide and then spun it out on the gravel trap. Now joins ahead of what I believe is the battle with Jonas Simoncic. Yeah, it was Jonas Simoncic.
It cost Simoncic a position there.
Yeah, it did.
Sheehan goes past him. Not a good race for the Audis.
No, it is not. Yeah, he could have just spun it on his own. Good Rüdiger, but it's a shame after such a good race. Now we look back. Gergo Baldi trying to make a move back again on Jesper Eriksson, whilst at this point Richard Schaefer's been like, okay, see ya, I'm going to try and run away now. Whether it'll work or not is yet to be seen. Of course, this could be a little five-way battle further down the pack. Risto Capet has made his pit stops. Kuba Brzezinski has cycled out to the race lead. And now Risto Capet stares at the back of Jonas Simoncic, Emre Cihan as well, directly ahead. And there is your race leader. Been a pretty comfortable drive, to be honest, since the first round of pit stops for Kuba Brzezinski. Just setting times by himself. I'm sure this is what Williams want to see. It's currently a 1-2-3 for the outfit. Brzezinski leading Keithley, leading Wisniewski. Oh, did I see a switch there? I did. Gergo Baldi's by Eriksson. Yeah, he did. I was just trying to work out if he was or not, but yeah, he has.
It was exactly the section where you mentioned it could happen.
Yeah, there we go. Was it Simone Prater who just got a drive through penalty?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I thought so. It's quite hard to read, sorry. Gergo Baldi, though, now through and up into 11th position. And now going to try and close back up and hopefully this time find his way past Richard Schaefer. This may actually help him because if he can build a gap whilst this are all battling behind, he may have full focus on the car ahead. Jesper Eriksson trying to throw everything to get by the BMW once again. There's that gap between Baldi and Schaefer. And you can see the gap between Baldi and Eriksson. I.e. it's none. Directly behind this, Zoltan Schuti for Mirror. Impressive driver.
It's getting quite close here at the bottom of the top 5 as well. Garcia currently in this 5th position, ahead of Bunky. Not by much.
No, Andre Santos as well, not too far ahead either. Could be closing down here for an intense duel for that 4th position. And yeah, quite rightly, Vince Banky to be in 6th position. And to be fair, David Nosh to be in 7th is absolutely incredible at this point. We'll see if Blair as well can mount a challenge to David Nosh. But we, like you've said, that BMW is quite good in its tyres. Nesta Garcia running quite wide at T2 to line up his run through the corner.
I think Blair is running out of time as well. He should have made more progress. So
yeah.
I'm starting to doubt if he really changed 4 tires or just had a really bad pit stop.
I mean, he could have changed.
He could have refueled as well.
Yeah, he could have done. I think I think it's probably more likely that he would have taken the 4 tyres, but just doesn't really have the confidence. Of course, it's not really a sim that he's too accustomed with at the moment, and there are subtle things that just throw off your confidence. Like even if it's just view, like you can't get your view comfortable. Risto Capet trying to get by Jonas Simoncic, not able to do so. Yeah, even like getting that view comfortable, getting all that, it's hard to make a move if you're not fully comfortable. And maybe first couple of races in the sim, maybe just not fully there at the moment. Because doing laps is one thing, but actual racecraft is a very different thing. You need a different level of comfort to go toe to toe with some of RaceRoom's best, so maybe that's what's holding him back. 8th position would still be a pretty healthy haul, though, heading out of the first race. Ben Spanky's not satisfied with his haul at the moment. And Andre Santos seems to be struggling in the final 8 minutes of the race. Desperate.
He's about 8 seconds behind Wyszynski at the moment, so he hasn't lost a lot of time in this race, but this is not what he's hoping for, especially when he sees where Bunky is and where Notch is. So they should have the faster car on the second race at Autodrom Most.
Especially in the race by the looks of it, because if they're doing this well in the race here, how are they going to do in the race at Autodrom Most? Say we're expecting that car to be fairly strong once we head to the Czech circuit. How the Mercedes will fare there, I am uncertain. Of course, this is the circuit which we'd expect the most practice has been done on, thanks to the pre-qualifier. So Most might throw a few curveballs our way, you never know.
He almost lost it there.
To be fair, he's made some good progress up to 15th, considering when we were staring at him earlier, he was down in 24th. So the pit stop, taking that early, has really worked out for the Cooper Sim Racing Series champion.
He would be the last one to score a point. Tomas Mironovic, the debutant here, would not score a point, and also both Audis out of the points. Qualifying was not bad, but in the race they're certainly struggling.
Yeah, maybe not the correct choice for Murphy and for Simoncic. Murphy in 20th, and then Simoncic in 18th at present. I mean, to be fair, to be 18th and 20th on this field, I'd be chuffed. It's just not good enough, I'm afraid. Balan Benedek drops out of the race. Simone Prater, after drive-throughs and whatnot, I think may have called it a day. Not calling it a day, though. Oh, he is miles ahead of Jack Keithley at the moment. What a drive. What a drive indeed.
3 seconds ahead of Jack Keithley.
Yeah.
But I would say Keithley has done the most here. Just no chance to beat Wyszynski when he's on this form. It beats all the other Mercedeses.
Yeah. I mean, once that start was done, it was going to be pretty hard for him to get by Kuba Brzezinski. But he didn't put any risk. He's quite happy with second and says he's going to leave it to the next race. So, you know, that's I think from memory, Keithley's he's not bad at Most. He's not really raced there too much, at least from my commentary point of view on him. But it's second, I don't think he'll be. Well, it's Jack Keithley, isn't it? It's quick anyway. Gogo Baldi yet to find a way by the Mercedes, but has got right onto the back again of Richard Schaefer, and maybe he wanted to gap Jesper Eriksson a bit more to so that he could focus fully ahead, but is unable to do so, and so still has to focus both ways, forward and rearward.
There's an interesting story about Richard Schaefer, because he's driving with just one foot. He still has the other one, don't worry.
Yeah, I was going to say,
but he can't use it at the moment. It's hard, and so he has to use one foot. He's only driving with the right foot, and that's not quite usual anymore in racing.
No.
Not have to use the clutch, all cars using pedal shifts. But Schaefer still proving that it's possible to be pretty quick here, top 10. I don't think he expected to qualify in the first shootout, but he will be happy with this pace, and Eriksson's off in the background.
Is he going to keep the position though as he rejoins, or is this going to be a position change? Richard Schaefer going to have to look down the inside. Is Gogo Baldi? Is there going to be contact? No, there is not. Richard Schaefer does manage to hang on, but going for the cutback, Gogo Baldi might be able to pull that one off. We'll look back towards Zoltan Schuti and Jesper Eriksson. Jesper Eriksson does manage to hang on. Gogo Baldi once again trying to look where he's going down inside of the final corner. This could be it done. Gogo Baldi's going to get that move done. And that is it, up to 10th position for Gogo Baldi. Managed to wrestle his way by the Mercedes as Jesper Eriksson dropped off the back. So he did just need that focus to get by. Now 10th position for the Hungarian. That is impressive though, doing it with one foot. I just seem to remember Lars Brugman at one point had to drive with one foot, only more awkwardly so, I'd say. It was his left foot that he could drive with, which I just couldn't. I couldn't get to grips with that. accelerating with your left foot, and then whoa.
It reminds me of the story at the Nürburgring event where one of our drivers from Romania, Alex Mirea, broke his leg and then still competed in the next day.
Yeah, I remember racing with him. Interesting. Oh, who's that been? Who's been off? Oh no, I think it's just a connection thing. Don't panic. I thought he'd spun around there. Not the case. Well, we've seen how it can be done, BMW to Mercedes, but obviously Bence Banky wasn't able to review that footage. Is he happy with 6th position? I mean, it's not a bad one, is it? 6th?
No, I think he will be happy with 6th position, because that means he has really good chance at Most. That must be so distracting that there's one car which has a connection issue, which is causing all the smoke on the track.
Yeah, of course, driver's able to see that as well. Can be a little bit of a distraction. You're constantly thinking, oh, what's going on ahead? No, nothing, don't worry. What concentration. Not long to go, 2 minutes left in the first race. Of course, then we head to Autodrom Most. We'll go there fairly swiftly and get underway the practice session and then qualifying, and then do this all over again. Once again, it'll be a 40-minute race, 1 pit stop required over the course of that 40-minute race. Wasn't so good through that right-hander. That was Banky, which is where we've seen that bit so good. Yeah, wasn't the best judgment.
Actually, Garcia is catching Santos a little bit on this lap.
Yeah. I think Santos is struggling a little bit. Although, by a little bit, I mean like maybe a couple of tenths a lap, which
he lost
when it's this close.
Since the last time we checked, he lost 2 seconds to Brzezinski, so certainly is struggling a bit. Oh, Ericsson. I think he tried to go for a move on Schäfer there, lost the place to Suti, and lose another one to Stoffmehl.
And potentially another one to Dorneden as well, if he's not careful. Dorneden, a wily character. Stoffmehl up to 13th position though. He's going to try and go back down the inside, but it's the wrong choice into T1 because it just puts you on the outside all the way through T2. Oh, there's contact. He was a bit too ambitious. Stoffmehl's off. Oh no, Spotsman was going to be round.
Oh, and that was unfortunately very, very clear what happened there.
Yep.
Ericsson just too late on the brakes, hitting the car of Stoffmehl. Well, if he just gets through.
Yeah, unfortunately that one's a pretty slam dunk kind of affair.
Well, let's see if there's another lap. There's not. This is the final lap.
What a drive. What a drive it has been from Brzezinski. The pole on pole. Maybe did most of his work in qualifying. It was an incredible lap to get ahead of Jack Keithley. Jack Keithley tried responding but couldn't. In the race has just had no answer as Brzezinski comes out of the final corner. He's going to take the first victory of the day. And what a drive it has been, and what a team event it has been for Williams. Keithley ahead of Wisniewski. Bence Banky trying to throw everything he can to get into the top 5, but I'm pretty sure he'll be satisfied with 6th position. Andre Santos, Nestor Garcia, Bence Banky. Then David Noj did a very good job as well. Blair in 8th. Erhan Yovski's done a good job to recover to 9th position. And Gergo Baldi is going to round out the top 10. Another good recovery from him after that incident. We didn't see what happened from that pit lane exit for Erhan Yovski. And maybe the merge between Yovski and Baldi. Both recovered into the top 10, but have a lot of work to do at the next circuit, Rob.
Yes, indeed. I think Gergo Baldi has a good chance at the next circuit with his BMW. They should be strong there. Look at Spunky P6 in the BMW here, Notch P7. These are great results, and you've got confirmation of the results. Fastest lap for Leon Rüdinger. Probably changed all 4 tires then. Great achievement for him, even though in the end he didn't finish the race, but still a lot of experience gained here. Brzezinski wins ahead of Keithley and Wisniewski. Williams 1, 2, 3. Andre Santos in 4th, and then Nestor Garcia rounding out the top 5.
Yeah, you don't need to win. You do not need to win. You just need to get in the top 5 in those point standings, and that is the important and crucial bit. Of course, that's how it works between the 2 events. We know our points from the first one. We can see that in front of us. It'll be in order 25 and so on, 25, 20, 16, 13, 11, 10, I know some six, all the way down to 1 for the top 15. So we know that. But at Most, that's where things are going to... everything's going to be thrown out. Expect to see a completely different order at Most. And that is where things are going to get very interesting. Of course, again, 40 more minutes of racing. We'll have to see how it all unfolds there.
Yeah, we just got a little break. Be back in just about a moment. So until then, stay tuned here, because another race is coming up.
Die Motoren heulen auf und ganz vorne wird's richtig eng. Das gibt's doch nicht. Außenrum. Holy moly. Das Rennen ist vorbei. Und André Santos holt sich die ersten 25 Punkte. Scheitelpunkt ist offen. Der M6 ist außen. Löhner gibt einfach nicht auf. Wahnsinn. Schiebt sich da rein, überrascht den Engländer. Und dieses Mal schiebt er ihn raus. Hasse, der guckt in den Rückspiegel und freut sich.
Herzlich willkommen auf dem Hockenheimring.
Er macht's wirklich außenrum. Aber ist er vorbei? Noch lange nicht. Congratulations an den Sieger, an den Euronics-Fahrer Julian Kunze. Jetzt der Angriff, vielleicht vom Zackspeed Mercedes. Schiebt er so ein bisschen den Meisterschaftsführenden beiseite. Tim Jaschel, die ersten 25 Punkte sind ihm. Im Falle, dass Kunze vorbeigeht, ist Santos Meister. Wahnsinn! Moritz Löhner verteidigt innen mit dem langen Radstand, versucht das außenrum. Julian Kunze, kann er das machen? Die beiden berühren sich. Julian Kunze ist immer noch außen. Wahnsinn! Hinten wird's richtig eng. Julian Kunze außenrum. Er will es wirklich nochmal probieren. Es reicht nicht. Er reiht sich hinten ein. Wir haben einen neuen Meister. Moritz Löhner. Was ein Ding!
Right, well that is what has been. What is to come, though, could be very, very different. You can see we are at Autodrom Most as we prepare ourselves for another 40 minutes in the saddle. And these boys are really going to have to put it together. Emery Cheehan, the guy on screen at the moment. Of course, race 1 didn't quite go his way. Let's put it lightly in that sense. But how this one's going to go could be very different, could be favourable for him. And it is important for him to get a good race here. Maybe he's not going to get through on points, but if he has a strong race here, he carries confidence into the next qualifier, and that is going to be very, very important. Of course, it's 5 drivers from each of the shootouts. There are 4 shootouts, like we've said. So carrying confidence between the few is crucial. It's not just the one guy that transfers, it's 5. So, again, you don't need to win. You just need to have a couple of good results and you can get your way through. Practice currently underway. 11 minutes to go of that, and then we'll get into qualifying once again. And then that 40-minute race will begin. We'll just take a quick time after that race to calculate who's going through. And then we'll know how things stand. The top 5, who's in the best position. For me, I think Ben Spanky, to be honest. I know Brzezinski has obviously won that race. He's in a very, very good position. But Ben Spanky picking up a 6th place in that BMW, especially with how strong that BMW looked in the race, could be absolutely crucial. There is your point standing. Brzezinski, Keithley, Wisniewski, and Santos and Garcia are the 5 currently, in air quotes, transferring to the main championship. Rob, how's this one going to play out?
Oh, we will see here in the practice session already what kind of times they are setting. I think great performance from Williams Esports, no doubt about that. They will certainly get some drivers in here at the first shootout, but I wouldn't count out Baldi. Certainly wouldn't. Not after his performance here in the race.
Oh yeah, Baldi could score well. He did pick up a few points. He picked up 6. So if he picks up the win here. That's 31 points. That's a pretty handy amount of points. Just depends on how everyone else plays. So at the moment, Gogobali really has to target victory.
And of course,
anything less than maybe not good enough.
And of course, we see the discussions as well about the incident with Jajoski. It will be investigated post-race if Baldi files a report. So that's the system that we're using here. Stewards are going to take their time to review it. Won't be a quick and maybe wrong decision. They will take their time to review it afterwards, and then, if necessary, the results will be corrected, of course. But still, for Baldi, it doesn't help him so much. Maybe gain some place against Jajoski in the end, but not more. So
yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, I don't know how much you've raced with Jajoski. I've raced with Jajoski a little bit. There would be no malice in an incident like that. Of course, you know, accidents do happen. You know, I'm sure there'll be a little conversation between the two post-event, and they can sort their differences, and then we'll have to wait and see.
Of course, we don't know who's at fault anyway, right? So
exactly, we have no idea.
Baldi on your screen. Bit of an unlucky figure in the RaceRoom competitions. He did get his first title on RaceRoom Esports WTC House Car Online Championship, then had a lot of issues in the final event, issues that weren't necessarily his own fault. Brzezinski, of course, did a fantastic job. I don't want to take away anything from Brzezinski's performance there. But for Baldi, that was quite a disappointing day in Malaysia, this final. So he's coming into the GT Masters Esports with high hopes.
He does have a bit of bad luck in LAN events. I distinctly remember the 2018 one at Nürburgring as well. I remember that qualifying session that didn't quite go his way. He was in such a strong position in that sort of like LAN championship, I guess it was. You know, there was 3 races. He just kind of was a bit unlucky in that one, shall we say.
Yeah. Couldn't set a qualifying time on the Nordschleife because of technical issues. But let's see how it goes for him here.
Yeah, he's won his fair share though, isn't he? Don't want to give any more. It's a joke, don't worry.
Keithley fastest again. The practice session. Faster than Bunky in the BMW.
But practice is one thing, you know. It's a 130.518 he's set. Banky directly behind. I did wonder it because, like, you know, saying like Jack Keithley, I think this could be a good circuit for Keithley. I'd certainly expect to see Keithley stronger here than Brzezinski and Wisniewski.
Yeah, no, I think for Brzezinski it will be hard here.
Yeah.
But it's hard to say. Certainly should be able to go a bit quicker than he is now. Fastest time in the pre-event practice that we've seen was the 30.3. That time was driven by Gogobali.
If there's one thing that we know about Jack Keithley, though, is that he will set a time at the early part of the qualifying, which will be the benchmark time. I would suspect that Keithley, in the first half, in the first 5 minutes of that qualifying session, I think Jack Keithley will be on top, regardless of whether he's in a Mercedes, a BMW, a Porsche, doesn't matter. I think Jack Keithley will be the one on top. It's just whether people can respond to that, which, as we saw from Brzezinski in the previous one, he was able to up his game to that level. You can see those BMWs towards the front end. Not something that we saw. Of course, Oschersleben, there's Ben Spanky up to the top, sets a 3.85. You can see Noj and Baldi as well, 4th and 5th. Does this man have a lot of work ahead of him? He should be in a strong, well, he's in a very strong position to qualify. He should be good money for it. But it is a difficult track to race. Is impatience going to go the better of some of the drivers? Goes to 4th at the moment in the practice. That's going to give you a bit of confidence.
Astor Garcia, meanwhile, only in P19. There's one thing we expected on this track, and that is that it's an advantage for the people who regularly drive RaceRoom.
Yeah.
Because everyone spent a lot of time on Oschersleben for the pre-qualifying. It was certainly very, very difficult to get into the race. it's very difficult to qualify. I mean, I raced in the competitions before, back in the day. Used to win a RaceRoom competition race, an esport race in the WTCC championship. And I finished like 74th. So it was ridiculously hard to get into the race. So they all know Oschersleben really well, but at Most, they didn't have to do the practice to get into the race. It just comes like as a bonus, you know? You could do the race at Most as well. So the levels of practice will differ here a lot more than on Oschersleben. And drivers like Bunky, like Keithley, like Santos, they know this track in and out. Actually, Santos, I'm not sure. I don't think he's ever raced here, to be honest, because he was not at the Bodensee event. But someone like Nestor Garcia, he's only done the WTCR championship on RaceRoom. Usually active on other games like Dirt Rally and so on. And might be a bit of a disadvantage for him here.
It's not a track common to be raced in sim racing so much. It's not one that I've actually ever raced.
Yeah,
so some of these drivers, it may be a brand new circuit to them. To others, they may have known, like in my sense, know of the circuit, but never really raced. Dorneden quite far down the order in 26th, but I don't think that's any real concern. He's 2.5 seconds off. That's obviously not a competitive time in any sense. Yovsky seems to have put in a fair amount of work, because obviously he's not a RaceRoom regular, in 9th position at present.
Yeah, Yovsky actually did race this track at the event in Frankfurt. So he has got some experience. Good to see Mangano back out there, and P10, and Capet as well, P8. Look at Dominic Blyer. I mean, he certainly hasn't raced this track before. Not on RaceRoom, and it's not part of iRacing or Assetto Corsa where he usually races. Still P4, still faster than Brzezinski at the moment, in the same car.
Really is testament to his talent. Really, really is. Like, the competition side of RaceRoom has really come a long way in the last couple of years. I remember when we did the WTCC Esports Championship, or 2017, the first one of that, doing the highlights and stuff like that, and the field was strong. But in comparison to this, this is a different level.
Yeah,
There are still drivers at the front of that championship that are at the front of this championship. Do not get me wrong. Like, I'm not trying to discount Dorneden, who ended up was Dorneden, wasn't it? He won that championship.
Yeah, Dorneden won the championship. Ahead of a certain Garibaldi.
Yeah, obviously names stick around. You know, like, I'm not discounting that. I'm just saying that the depth of this field is incredible.
Yeah, it is crazy. Look at Balint Benedek. He was part of the last season. He was a regular driver in all of the events. He's 25th. Dorneden is 28th. Okay, that's not a fast time by Dorneden. He can definitely go faster. But still, I mean, back in the day there were championships where talent was enough, you know? Didn't have to put the work in. And here it's certainly different. I checked out some statistics of how many laps the drivers have driven in preparation, and the numbers were really high. Even drivers like Tim Heinemann, who's not participating today, but we expect to see him later on in the season. Even he did like several hours of practicing just to get the P1 spot. And he didn't do it in the end. Went to Garibaldi. So certainly a stacked field, and it's just gonna get better in the next race. Because we've got a couple of drivers who are currently at the Super Racer event, the Super Racer boot camp. So they cannot participate this time around.
Yeah, there we go. There's that list. And some of those drivers in that list, the likes of Moritz Lerner is one that stands out, Julian Kunze as well. Two incredible talents. Florian Harter, of course, one who's pretty handy in a GT. Took his first race win in competition in RaceRoom at the Bodensee live event last year. It was his first ever race win, despite winning the championship online. It was his first race win, though, and it was in these cars, so he's pretty handy in them.
Yes, and Tim Jarschel won last season 2 races, only driver to win 2 races, both at the Sachsenring. So we expect him in the next round, probably. And then, of course, all the drivers who miss out this time. Look at Keithley's time. 3:34. The Mercedes.
Yeah, very impressive. Although not what you would classify as unpredictable. Right, let's see what happens then in qualifying. Practice is done. We now take on the 21 turns of Most again and again and again for 15 minutes. There's the race out of pit lane. Desperate for that track position.
Oh, Wiedlinger just going through the car of Santos there. making use of the feature that's called wrecker prevention. So there can be no pileups in the pit stops, of course, as drivers share a pit slot like Murphy did with someone else in the first race. I mean, there's no chance that you can speak with all the drivers, so decided to do it in a way that's maybe a bit unrealistic, but certainly more fair.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things that it's a nice idea to have it done in the most realistic way possible, but you've got to take into account fairness and things like that. Like there are times when just having that as an actual feature of contact and stuff in the pit lane it would cause too many issues.
Keithley out in front. Just going to give a shout out to Patrick Adamczyk before I forget, because I think that's the only driver that we haven't shown yet. From Project Cars under the name Popsu, I think. Pretty capable sim racer. Now back to Jack Keithley, who's about to start his first flying lap.
Yeah, heads down to the 20th and second to last corner, then back up the hill towards that final 90 right, and then begins his lap. These are the corners where that BMW is going to be very, very strong. The likes of Baldi and that will be in that BMW. This is where they're going to be very strong. All the way down towards a very, very heavy braking zone of T1. Going to see quite a few moves into here. As much as it is a hard circuit to overtake on, you can do a little bit into this section. Throws it over the curbs, T1 and 2. Tightens it up, then slams the throttle down.
That was
so
smooth.
Through the slight kink of 3.
That was ridiculous throttle control from Keithley there.
Visibility of the track around this part is actually quite difficult. Just slightly going downhill, just slowly curving down. Everything slows down through this fairly Mickey Mouse section. It's very, very tricky to get a rhythm here. This is where we saw some issues at the live event. Hopefully we won't see any here. Then back down the hill through 12 and then 13. It's incredibly fast right-hander. It's so very quick. It is good fun when you get it right, but you can get it wrong and cause a humongous crash.
You can also kill your suspension there on the outside when you run too wide over the grass.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to be careful at that corner not to make any mistakes, because they will be very, very costly. Continuing through this S section, through the fast corner, T17 there, we've just gone through, back under another bridge. Pit lane entrance is on the right-hand side, just as we pass this point. Oh, we have to use it in this? Well, not in qualifying anyway. T20, up the hill again, T21. There we go, a lap done for Jack Keithley.
Very good lap.
It is a very good lap. What's it going to be there on the timesheets? Is it going to reflect it?
Oh yes, it is. 30.364. What a lap from Jack Keithley.
He's good at getting him down early, isn't he? Fantastic lap time from Jack Keithley to kick things off. 2 tenths clear of Andre Santos. Nikodem Wisniewski moves up into second position at the moment. Bence Banki only managing 4th position. Keep an eye on David Noj heading under the bridge through the central part of the lap. Diogo Baldi only managing 5th at present. What's the sector time's going to be for Noj? They're all right. They're not pole worthy though. That is an excellent time to open the session once again from Jack Keithley, but he was dethroned in the previous one, may I remind you. Noj to the line, Mirror Esports. Goes 3rd. Decent time. We know that Noj can be quite good at qualifying. We saw that in the Cooper Sim Racing Series. He knocked up the first pole position of that. But it's a Merc 1-2 at the BMW expected circuit.
Yeah, we did not expect the Mercedes with this kind of pace here. That was really a surprise. Mercedes actually gained 10 extra kilos of ballast weight. Pretty close to the race. Oh, Wisniewski with a big slide there. That's this lap over. Because a lot of drivers chose the Mercedes, and we saw a lot of drivers swapping to another car. But seems like the Mercedes is still pretty good here.
Yeah, so the Porsche Kuba Brzezinski in 6th position, your race winner at Oschersleben. Picking up a bit of slipstream there with Wisniewski, but I don't think it will help him too much towards the line. He's going to cross, stay second. Bence Banki goes to second, actually, as we've just seen that. So he heads his way up the order. Still not good enough for pole. 10th clear.
Recovered. It's fast in practice, but not fast on this lap. Oh, but Stoffmehl is quite fast. P11.
Yeah, of course, should have scored some points in the previous race. Unfortunately, that incident with Jesper Eriksson pushed that one off. But still, P11 at present is a good one. I recall, I mean, this is from a long time ago, so don't base too much truth on it. Take it with a pinch of salt. The calorie was quite good around the circuit, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's one of the circuits where it's quite decent, I would say. But yeah, it's been one of the more unpopular choices here. I think we will see this trend continue in the next races, also with the Audi. We expected a lot more from the Audis, especially in qualifying. Doncic in P13, Murphy in P14. A lot of drivers were considering taking the Audi here, but then decided against it, not because of the overall pace, but because of the race pace and the tire behavior. It's very difficult to drive the car because the rear tires tend to overheat, and then you run into trouble very early on in the race. But in qualifying, people were expecting that it's possible to set a pole position in this car.
Yeah, Simijic just starting another lap time. We'll see if he can move his way up the order. As you say, down in 14th position at the moment. 15th then for Murphy, those two Audis. There's Dornadon, 29th. And stays there. Yet to set a time. Nesta Garcia's, yeah, like you said, I don't think he's done too much for the circuit, practice-wise. Had an excellent run in Oschersleben, but his chance of staying in the top 5 may not go his way here. 16th at the moment for Garcia. Needs to do better than that if he wants to get in it. Van Benedek only 19th. I saw Devanage is up in 4th position. Keeper Brzezinski. Is that, yeah, he's moved his way up into 5th. Strong qualifying from Brzezinski, must be said. Naj doing a good job as well in 4th. Those BMWs, considering how they are in the race, this is very impressive. This could be, like we said, pretty potent for those lot. Adamczyk, 27th at present. Improving decently, but not enough to threaten the top lot, but could move up in the top 20. Nope, 26th.
Rüdinger again really fast here. A little bit of a revelation here in this shootout. Just this pure pace from him. Oh, that's Jajowski up to P5.
I'm trying not to be super biased, but I do have a little flag waving for Jajowski. I do like him. He's a good lad. Talented racer, very, very quick. I'd argue after I did a little list of some of the top sim racers at one point, and Jajowski was near the top. Obviously, that's only picking it from one certain scenario, but still, he is right up there. Realistically, Wisniewski, 3rd position. I don't know if he just improved into that, or if that was just. Oh, I think it was Naj. It was just glitched out of it. Don't worry. I'm just losing my mind. Keeping that eye on Jack Keighley. He's not currently on a time, and decides to get out of the way and allow some of the faster traffic through.
I'm surprised by Baldi. I expected a lot more from Baldi here in the qualifying.
Maybe he's leaving it to the last couple of minutes to really surprise you.
Yeah, but the pressure is just getting higher and higher now. There are quite a few cars on track. Now he's in a good position. He's probably behind Notch. It's either Notch or Ulrich. He's driving in front of him. Good second sector. Faster than Keithley was. Times are not as close here as on Oschersleben, but still pretty close.
He didn't look particularly quick in 20. Not gonna lie. Comes out of the line, out of 21 towards the line.
Goes up to P4.
Obviously, my eyes are deceiving me. Mangano, of course, a GT Sport kind of driver. Very, very quick over there. Heads over to RaceRoom. Heads to 15th. Unfortunately, didn't have the greatest race. Last time out was an early faller in that one, but 15th at present. Decent work.
Eamon Murphy showing a bit of the potential of the Audi here. To P13. And I mean, that's still ahead of Stoffmehl, Gillison, Mangano. Also ahead of Ericsson and Schaefer, who scored a lot of points. Oh, and Stoffmehl up to P8. Guess you were right
Very
about
nice.
the Corvette performance here.
Very nice time from Stoffmehl. 29-year-old Dutchman doing a credible job. Maybe he just likes Most as well. I did recall that car being pretty quick, pretty handy around here. Andre Santos.
Only P9, and Andre Santos was 4th in the first race. So that just means he backed 13 points. The performances of Banki, of Baldi, of Nocci, and also of Jajowski. I don't think that's really good enough for him.
No. Those bottom spots in that top 5 are very much under threat. I still feel, I still feel that top trio, the Williams Esports drivers, I feel those 3, should there be no mistakes, I feel those 3 will progress. It's just, in my mind, who fits the other 2. Is it going to be Banki, Baldi, Jajowski, Noj maybe? I think Noj, maybe not.
Von Eden and Gassner all the way back. A huge surprise. By Brzezinski on a good lap.
Yeah, he still has to perform here, that is for sure. He may have taken victory last time out, but still needs to put in a solid result at Most. Currently in 6th, goes 4th in the Porsche.
Oh, ahead of the two BMWs.
Yes, that is impressive.
Plus the start advantage of the Porsche. That's a very good position here for Kuba Brzezinski.
3 minutes to go in quali. And if he's currently on a time is actually going to commit to this lap, this will be his last one. Unless he does another one after this, but following on the same run, because he won't have enough time to do another one. With there only being 2 minutes and 45 seconds to go. As always in RaceRoom, once that time hits 0, that's the session done. We'll move over into the 40-minute race.
Onto the front row here.
Impressive time.
Nice job from
But
him.
still not getting on with that Jack Heatley time.
Yeah, what a lap from Keithley, 3:07. He improved while we were looking at the other drivers.
Yeah.
It's well clear. If you like what you see here, and if you would like to see more streams of this again, of the future shootouts, make sure to leave a like and maybe even a comment at the YouTube video. So we try our best to be back for the other shootouts as well, but so far it's not confirmed. Every like matters. So we can do it again next time. And the way it looks, Gergo Baldi might do it again next time as well.
He may have to.
P10 in the first race, P6 here. Starting his last lap now.
Yeah, he'll have just enough time to do it. Like we said, 40-minute race ahead. Pit stop required. And we saw those ones that came in for an early pit stop really made things... Well, some of them made things work, some of them didn't. So finding that right time to make a pit stop and doing 2 very solid stints is going to be key to the performance of this race. Gergo Baldi really needs to get a good lap here if he wants to qualify, if he wants to get in that top 5. Heading through that first sector at present. I mean, to be fair to him, he is only a couple of tenths off the pole time. That's all you need to find. You just need to find a couple of tenths. It's an okay first sector for him, but not great.
Oh, he's going to lose some time. Some time there on Keithley. Say it is still a bit better in the tight corners. Here he should gain the time.
Yeah, through this twisty section, all medium speed corners. The final 2 corners really work in the favour of this BMW.
Oh no, it's not looking good.
No, I think that's it for Baldi. But we did see how good he was in the race. There we go, he just calls it. We know how good he is in the race. So let's not count our chickens yet, Rob. Good quality for Noj. A better one for Keithley. Fantastic work. Test start there for Ben Spanky.
Still a privateer entry, by the way, Ben Spanky. There we have confirmation. Jack Keithley over a 10th clear, and in that field, that's just ridiculous. Keithley on pole, Notch second, then Banki, Wisniewski, and Brzezinski, the winner of the first race. Gergo Baldi rounding out the top 6, followed by Jajowski, Santos, Stoffmehl in the fastest Corvette, and Dominic Blyer.
Yeah, curious to see how Stoffmehl does in this race, doing a solid job in that Corvette, but how that Porsche is going to be off the start in this one is going to be interesting for Kuba Brzezinski. With a minute ahead of us before that race. There you go. Those are the cars that they've picked. You can see the advantages. That Porsche should be absolutely solid off the start.
Yeah, BMW especially, highest downforce, easy to drive and good tire wear. That's all gonna help in the race.
But not so much with overtaking as we saw in the previous one. But yes, the race itself
To be honest,
should go well for the BMW.
Almost all of the overtakes that we have seen were with the BMWs.
It's true. That is true. I will go back on that point. Another 40-minute race ahead of us. Who is going to come out on top of this one? It's Mercedes ahead of 2 BMWs, ahead of Mercedes, ahead of a Porsche here at Autodrom Most. You can see the grid there, and how fantastic does it look? The lights will be out and on ahead of us, and the race will begin 40 minutes ahead. Who is going to be in the top 5 after we leave this one? Oh, it's a terrible start from one of the BMWs. Which one was that?
That was Ben's Bunky there, completely missed the start.
Not with it at all, but that means Jack Keithley's got a clear run down.
Brzezinski's second.
Brzezinski up to second position. He's going to have to hang it around the outside here at T1. But mate, you think he's going to hang on to third for sure? That is a fantastic rocket ship start from Kuba Brzezinski after victory last time out. What a move. Looking back down to Nikodem Pistevsky, who's lost out. Erhan Yovsky's moved up to 5th position. Fantastic stuff. Andre Santos is in 8th. Bence Banki's dropped all the way down to 8th position. Gogo Baudi's moved up into 6th. Now is 2nd of the BMWs. There's Andre Santos just getting moved down the order by Gogo Baudi. But wow, what a start from Kuba Brzezinski. Seeing Stoffmill getting muscled out of the way here, just a little bit down the order. Murphy as well. Look at that BMW. Pick one in the background. Has made a great start up to 11th position. Now fighting the back end of the top 10. God, fancy missing the start.
What a clean start it was.
Yeah, that. To be fair, with a slow car on the grid, it's the most dangerous thing to have on the start of a grid, and yet no major incident.
Lineker and Ericsson going side by side here in the midfield. And Notch managed somehow to stay ahead of Brzezinski. That could be crucial for him. Front of the field.
Yeah, we'll see this BMW get stronger as the stint goes on, I feel. Brzezinski now has probably one of his best mates in the world behind him, trying to stare down victory and try and transfer his way into the top 5. Would it be nice to his teammate and let him go? Well, this doesn't look very nice back in the order. All very tight racing. Everything tight. Yone Simic will be for 3 wide pass there. Yone Simic trying to move his way up the order and try and move up into 18th or 19th position. Muscling his way around with Zoltan Suti. Suti managing to hang on to 19th, get the real grunt of that AMG.
Well, Jillison having some connection problems there.
Essentially.
Maybe that was the car that caused the smoke in the first race. Either way, Keith is leading, but not just not letting go.
No, I don't think Nodge will. I think he's going to fill those mirrors and really keep Jack Keithley under pressure as long as he can in this race. And to be fair, knowing the speed of him, we saw that rugged determination, that second race, the very second race at the Nürburgring in the Cupra Sim Racing Series, and how determined he was to be victorious in that. Had to work his way up the order a bit, but really showed some excellent overtaking opportunities, some excellent pace. And he's shown it on various occasions. The trouble is the consistency for Nodge to actually show it. Again, race to race to race. Sometimes he just falters. And over a longer championship, that's where he struggles. Short one, though, 2 races. Should be able to do well. Go Baudi. Now at the back of Yovsky. Yeah, 2 wide at T21. I think this could be good for Baudi to get that move done at T1 and T2. Should be good money. Yeah, but he's got that one done. Yovsky doesn't fight it. Doesn't want to waste any time. You can see there's a bit of a gap to jump in between Gogo Baudi and Andre Santos. Of course, these two were the ones that were involved in that incident at the exit of pit lane in the previous race. So they've seen a fair amount of each other's car. Quite up close as well, apparently. Race downhill again.
Bit of a timing issue there. Gap's not quite as big as they appear to be on the timing tower there.
Yeah, struggling to keep up with the frantic action. Oh, they are quite big gaps. I've only just noticed. Yeah, take those with a pinch of salt. And a fairly large one as well. Jone Simoncic. Whoa, that's tight. That is very, very tight. That's Gasner. He's got Zoltan Suti behind as well. Mangano behind that. Dornadon down in 23rd in the race. The BMW is supposed to be good. Oh, look at that. What a move. What a move from Zoltan Suti. Jone Simoncic maybe struggling to get into grips with these GTs at present.
Well, there's a change at the front, I think. I think it was Bunky who got past Santos there.
Trying to recover from that awful start. This has allowed Gajowski to get a bit of breathing room as well and focus on the car ahead. But I would say, knowing Banky's speed, not for long. Certainly was a change of position though. So pretty handy there. Croatian ahead.
Look at Nestor Garcia. All the way down in P30. Something must have happened to the Red Bull Racing Esports driver.
Yeah, that's the other thing. We may have some big names driver-wise in the series, but of course teams-wise as well. You know, there's FA Racing. You've got Red Bull. You've got Williams. You know, all the big lot. And there is one of the Williams drivers ahead of Mirror, ahead of two more Williams drivers, ahead of another Mirror, ahead of AAA, and then a privateer. Ben Spanky. Bence has a lot of experience to fall back on, though, so it's fine. He can do well. He can do all right by himself.
Oblaya, aggressive move against Murphy here.
Murphy gave him the room though, nicely, respectfully. Blyer desperate to get by, only P12 at the moment. Was very impressive in the early stages of the previous race. Going to go down the inside of the first corner. Oh, that's a bit of a lunge. Really throws it over the inside.
Yeah, it was actually quite early on the braking there.
Yeah. Maybe he was trying to fear Murphy into a move. Yeah.
Maybe he just can brake a bit later. Porsche,
Sure
of
is
course,
that.
is very good on under braking. Someone has to compensate for the understeer.
Yeah, it's a bit of a boat, the Porsche. Kuba Brzezinski, Victor, look at how far he's pulled away from Nikodem Wisniewski. And look at how much he's closing into the top two.
The results stay as they are. The drivers qualified are Keith Lee, Brzezinski, Wisniewski, Notch and Santos. With Santos only 2 points ahead of Ben Spunky. That means Bunky has to get 2 more positions. And if Santos stays where he is, then Bunky will qualify.
If he's only two... Oh, yeah, of course, because it will count back, wouldn't it? Because if he moves up 1 position, it will give him 2 points ahead of Yovsky. Because I think it's... Oh, no, it should be 1. No. I can count. So, yeah, he does have to make 2 positions up. Massive Andre Santos doesn't make any more positions up the order. Risto Kappa having a slightly better race than he had in Oschersleben, but Mike Stoffmill behind. Impressive stuff at the moment from the lone Callaway. Like you say, it is good to see all 5 cars that we have available out here on circuit. We're only 2 minutes away from that pit lane being open, and who is going to take an early call to get some fresh rubber? It worked well for some and not for others in Oschersleben. I'd suggest some of these in the back of the pack. Like I would say, I think Blyer will come down pit lane pretty sharp. Because he's stuck in a bit of traffic. We know he is very, very quick. I'd suggest he has a lot to gain from coming in early, setting some decent times and potentially trying to jump this lot whilst they're all a battling pack. And that would be bad for Andre Santos.
And it doesn't look like Santos has the pace here again.
No, this could be bad for his attempt to qualify. Who's he only 2 points ahead of? Sorry.
It's only 2 points ahead of Banki.
Thank you. Yeah.
But then only a further 2 points ahead of Jajowski and Baldi.
Yeah.
Oh, Baldi. He's close to the back of Nikodem Wisniewski now.
BMW coming good as the race is progressing. Of course, I think he's definitely a man on a mission after how things went at Oschersleben. There he is, looking at that slipstream. Is he going to throw it down the inside of T1? He thought about it. He did think about it. You saw a little cheeky peeky, but didn't follow through with it.
Nice, are close at the back of the grid as well. The two Callaway's, Page and Dixon, fighting with each other here. Oh, Page too late on the brakes here. Dixon goes through. Garcia still 29th. Benedek's retired. First one out of the race here.
Not a good event for Balan Benedek.
A good event indeed. Jack Keithley still controlling the race, still doing a fantastic job here. No one expected the Mercedes to be this fast around Autodrom Most. No one expected that you could potentially win in the Mercedes here. And once again, it's Jack Keithley who's leading the race.
Could it be the year of Keithley? Show it the potential he's shown over the last few years that we know is there. We know what he's capable of. He is incredibly quick. But sometimes it's just piecing it together for Keithley that is the hard part. Maybe this is the time where he starts really piecing it together, understanding that you don't have to win every race. There we go, pit lane open, and boom, straight in goes Gergo Baldi. Following in pit lane, who was that? Was it Jajowski? Yeah, I thought it was Jajowski. It was a black car, I noticed that.
Oh, was that Santos?
Santos as well. There you go, Blyer as well. Did jump down pit lane early.
I think Mironovic as well. Yeah, lots of cars. Oh, side by side there. Mironovic and Richard Schäfer. A pit lane.
Mironovic decides to... Whoa, that was sneaky.
That was Richard Schäfer.
Very sneaky. A good lad there. I like the ingenuity. Back up with the race leader. None of these three have jumped down pit lane, naturally.
Brzezinski's got a good race pace.
He really does.
Actually, see who comes out first here.
If there is one thing that we know about
Oh,
is he's very good on tyres.
Baldi has jumped Jajowski, I think. Oh, they're stuck in each other there.
Wasn't Baldi already ahead? I think Jajowski
yes,
gained
he
a lot
was.
of time. Yeah, I think Jajowski has just gained a lot of time. Who's that? Who's got a drive-through?
And Suti as well.
Oh, Zoltan Suti, yeah, drive-through as well. Yeah, I think Jajowski's made a lot of progress through that pit stop.
It was actually Banki who was right behind Jajowski and not Baldi. Baldi was ahead of him.
Oh, how is this going to unfold?
This is staying out.
No one pitting, yeah, absolutely. Love that low sun, by the way. Looks ace. Just keeping his eye on what he's doing. Risto, Benz Banki was coming down pit lane. Mike Stoffmeal as well. Jumping down pit lane. Just a reminder, if you missed the first race, the red marker by the right of the driver's name or by the lap marker, that means they haven't stopped yet. The green marker means they have. They must come down pit lane. They must take at least 2 tyres on the stop. We don't suspect many will take 4. I think we saw in the last race, it didn't really work out. Let's go Baldi. First of the stoppers. Cool, a bit wide there at 20. I do love seeing just like the biggest names in esports going at it.
Let's see where Banki comes out. Oh, there he is.
There he is. Is he going to jump? No, he's not. Oh, close contact between the two. And I think he may just stay ahead. He's going to use that grunt. Erhan Jajowski says, oh, don't mind the nudging, mate. Sorry. Wow, that was hard. Tight. Yeah, that was some tough racing. Benz Banki, though, does gain that position. Or holds it? No, gains it.
Actually gains it, and that's only 1 point between him and Andre Santos. And Santos gotten under pressure by Stoffmeal now. So Santos seems to have lost some time in the pit stop.
And once everyone else comes down the pit lane, I query if he is going to lose more positions after the pit stop sequence.
Could get jumped by Capador Murphy.
Yeah, exactly. And like as much as in the race sense, they're not those lot aren't going head to head in the sort of like top 5 in the championship, but in that 5, that's where it's important. Oh, jumping down pit lane.
Wisniewski is in as well. Keithley and Notch still staying out. Let's go back with the Baldi cam to see where Wisniewski is coming out. But I would expect Wisniewski to be ahead.
He should be. He's had clean air. He should be ahead of Gogo Baldi. But I wonder if the gap is going to have come down. Comes out of the final corner and races towards the sun. Keep your eye on the right-hand side as that pit lane exit comes out.
Oh, that will be close.
It is close. He's going to try and stick it around the outside, heavy on the brakes, but I don't think he's close enough. It is close, though. It is very, very close. Not able to do anything at the moment, though. Oh, that BMW's getting big. Oh, he's made a mistake, slightly too wide. Maybe slightly caught out the first time you see a car in front of you. So, oh, where's the braking point again? But strong run from Gogo.
Drive through for Prater.
There's quite a lot of drive-throughs in this track, isn't there?
Yeah, difficult pit lane.
We saw 2 in the previous, now we've seen 4 already.
Oh, Wisniewski was super strong in this corner.
Oh, Brzezinski's in pit lane. Brzezinski is in. So he dives off this battle for the lead. How important could that be for him in this race? 24 minutes down, or 24 minutes to go rather. So 16 down. See where Wisniewski comes. He should be quite a way behind Kuba Brzezinski. I think there was a couple of seconds between the two of them prior to the pit stop. His teammate, his compatriot, his friend should be still comfortably ahead.
Let's see. There's Brzezinski. Yeah, keeping the gap.
And now Brzezinski is going to put in some monster laps, I feel. I think he's going to really push it. I also think Keithley and Notch will jump in the pit lane at the end of this lap.
Fastest lap so far, Jack Keithley, 30.7.
Yeah, impressive time.
30.8 for Brzezinski. Let's see if he improves on that.
I think
Notch is pretty close.
Surely these two have to come down pit lane.
Keithley's coming in.
Yeah, both of them. Boom. They were like, I'm not happy with Kuba coming in like that. Not a shock.
It's Prater once again.
Jumps through that chicane.
Capet leading the race once again, but this time in a much better position. Murphy in second in the Audi.
But where is Brzezinski? That's the question. And where is he going to come out in comparison to the two leaders? Currently down in 12th position. There he is. Bit of clean air. Very comfortable. Coming up towards the second to last corner. As we ride on board, keep your eye on the right-hand side. See if he has jumped either of the top two. Either David Noj or Jack Keithley.
Keithley drive-through penalty.
Drive-through. Oh my goodness. That is huge. That is absolutely monstrous. What a mistake to make. That is going to cost so much time.
Oh, and he's got only 20 points on the first race, not the 25.
Exactly.
Oh, this will be tight. This is great news for Santos, great news for Ben Spunky. Because they are in within a chance once again. Fortunately, due to the timing bug, we can't really see the gaps of the cars here, so we don't know exactly how much time Keithley is going to lose the drive-through, but even though he's got a lead, it still will be quite a substantial amount of time.
It's a long pit lane. It is a long pit lane, and it is very slow. If you're Jack Keithley, you stay out as long as possible. You put in some of the best times that you possibly can. Pit lane drive-through, number 5 of the race. Crazy mistake to make. Murphy into the pit lane.
Let's see if Murphy comes out near Santos.
Yeah. Oh my goodness me. I was bigging him up as well. Maybe that lack of maturity just showing itself with that mistake.
It's
You
one of
have
these
to-
cases where he didn't have to push.
Exactly what I was about to say. You have to ask yourself, did he need that extra time?
Let's see now
Looking back towards
Santos.
this, yeah.
Where's the pink car of Eamon Murphy? I think Santos is ahead.
Where is Murphy? Maybe he took 4 tyres? Yeah, must have done. Jesper Eriksson gets by as well. Whoa, that's
Blyer gets by as well. Blyer also with the long pit stop again.
Yeah, maybe he only fancies 4 tyres. Doesn't see the idea in 2. Maybe he doesn't know you can only take 2.
Mangano with the drive-through as well.
Number 6. Notching them up.
Oh, Eriksson. Side by side with Emre Cihan. Eriksson has not only made friends in this race.
I still think some heavy respect needs to go out to him. He's done some good stuff. I know it wasn't like that was a bit of a mistake in the previous one that cost Stoffmeal so much, but yes, Broson's shown some very, very good potential, and I think he has picked up a couple of fans. You're in the pit lane. Stoffmeal in 15th at present. I think he'll be outside the top 5. Top 5, top 10. That's what I meant. Carry on. May just get within it.
Brzezinski has caught Notch. And Keithley's in.
And this is for the lead. Yeah, Keithley 7 at drive. We'll see where he comes out in comparison to the rest of the order. What a costly penalty it is. There he is.
He's going to lose so much time.
Oh dear.
As Eriksson through, Cihan through, Murphy through as well. That's out of the points for Keithley.
What a mistake. And that means that he will have to do the next one. The next shootout, you'd have to say he would anyway. Unless something changes drastically. There's Cihan.
We will calculate once everyone's been in the pits, because now it's... Oh, Blyer goes off!
Did he catch contact doing that?
I don't think so. I think he just had a little bit of a slide, and then that's the problem with these cars. Traction control sometimes comes in when you're in the slide, and then you can't save it anymore.
Yeah, I found that.
Mangano another drive penalty.
That's the come on, that's sim racing 101. Don't get a drive through while serving the drive through. Oh, bless. So Risto Kappa yet to stop, current race leader. We're looking at the battle for what will become the race lead. Noj against Brzezinski. How would it be if Brzezinski not only comes to a track where the BMW was favoured and wins, but to have won both races of the shootout? Definitely not something you can rule out. Such a talent is Kira Brzezinski. One of those drivers who's quick regardless of the simulator. There are a few that can only really race in 1 or 2, and they're competitive in only 1 or 2. Kira Brzezinski, I've never seen him slow. He's quick regardless of what he does, whether it's open wheelers, GTs, hypercars, whatever it is.
Qualified for the Le Mans Esports Series final on Forza.
Yeah.
So, his talent, without a doubt.
The other one was Kevin Siggy. Like, he had to qualify for, was it World's Fastest Game? Oh, it was the McLaren Shadow Project. And they were like, oh, well, we don't have it in this, so we're going to have it in Assetto Corsa Competizione. And he was like, okay, I'll try it in that. Did it, qualified.
Kevin Siggy, of course, winner of the Super Racer Online Championship. That's why he's not racing here today, but we might see him as well in the next race.
Yeah, hopefully. Proper talent.
Oh, Banki has caught up with Gergo Baldi.
Oh, that's a brave place to look. That is super brave. He's going to be on the outside of turn 20, which is probably not really the most favourable line, but he's going to make it.
I think he's letting him through.
Yeah, he did.
I think he's letting him through because that promotes Banki ahead of Andre Santos.
Curious. He's very aware if he's paying attention to all of that.
Interesting
got-
choice, because
Yeah.
Baldi himself, because of Keithley's bad luck, Baldi himself got into a position where he could potentially qualify.
Yeah, now he's got Yoski all over the back of him. Odd move there, but yeah, fair enough. Maybe the BMW drivers are looking out for each other.
Another question, of course, is can Keithley get back into the points? Because he has 20 points. Oh, Ulrich way too late on the brakes here.
There we go. There's one. Tick. Torsten Ulrich. Done. Drop down the order. One more position. Here's Hanyovsky. Now we saw how good this Mercedes was at this kink just down the bottom of the hill. Courtesy, I think, of Nikodem Wisniewski earlier in the race.
So, as far as I can tell with the current standings, Keithley is only 2 points behind Andre Santos. Because he will have to score more points, because in case of a tie, the second race result will count. Keithley is almost certainly not going to catch Andre Santos here. But it means he will have to finish 13th in the race, and that might be a possibility.
I wouldn't rule it out. It is very possible. A man of his talent. We've only got 15 minutes though. And according to timing, he's got almost a minute to make up.
Aldi and Jajowski. Once again, Gian and Rüdiger there. Oh!
Oh, this is brave. This is brave. Murphy down the inside of Rüdiger. He's going to get that one done at the final corner. Side by side through the final two. Maybe escorted him a little bit further wide than he'd have wanted.
Yeah, and that could be suspension damage to Rüdiger as well.
Yeah, such a high-speed corner.
Oh, Brzezinski and Notch, sorry, I have to go there. They're side by side for the lead.
Yeah, he's going to try and make a stick around the outside. This is where it's all very, very tight, and he's done it. He's done it. As everything timed it up, Naj just let him have it. Oh, very nice. That was bravery from Brzezinski. I don't know how he got that run off the corner of the first chicane, but made it stick regardless. And now promotes himself into a potential second race victory.
Race pace not looking so strong anymore for the Mira BMWs here. Aldi also under increasing pressure from Erhan Jajowski.
Curious that the BMWs were really strong in the race, but they're not strong in the race here.
Maybe they changed the fronts.
Potentially, yes. Questions we don't have answers to, unfortunately. Gergo Baldi is, though, under intense pressure from Hanyovsky. And I'm sure David Noj will try and apply that same kind of pressure to Keeper Brzezinski. We look at Risto Capet, our current race leader, ahead of Bo Dixon. At present, the two yet to take their trip down pit lane.
It could really change a lot of things if Capet comes out of ahead of Santos there. That would really give Keithley a chance, but it's looking less and less likely for Jack Keithley that he will secure this ticket for the GT Masters Esports Championship in the first shootout.
And I thought he was in such a strong position, Rob. I thought he was in such a strong position. And a mistake has thrown it away. Of course, this battle will end up being for fifth position, what we're seeing here at the moment. Hanyovsky. Oh, bit of a slide there from Gergo. I don't think there was contact there, was there?
No, there was not.
On my end. It was very tight there, wasn't it?
Yeah, that would have been, you know, if Jajowski would have tapped him here, Baldi would have certainly spun. I don't think Jajowski could have done much about it. Baldi a bit out of control there in the corner, and he's losing time.
Yeah, he is. I think you're right. I think they've taken front because the rear on that car is not looking particularly planted around Most. How very unusual.
Capet is in the pits.
Is Bo Dixon going to come down? No, Bo Dixon's going to lead a lap. Nice one.
Has to come in at the end of this lap, though.
Certainly does. The window will close with 10 minutes to go. And that'll promote these two up as the battle for the lead. Shout out to Wisniewski, he's getting back involved in that battle, which is closing in a bit, but not quite there.
I think there's a lap car.
Oh, is that lap?
between.
I wasn't 100% sure. TJ, I will back up on that one because this is the battle there.
Santos comfortably ahead of Capet.
Yeah.
Should be Mangano who's in between there.
Yeah, I was trying to work it out. Who's in the odd? Merc. There's McGlade. He should be qualifying, shouldn't he, at the moment?
Yeah, he should be.
Yeah.
Brzezinski, Notch, Wisniewski, Banki, and Santos should be through.
Should things stay the same, that is, though. So Bo Dixon should be coming down to the pit lane momentarily, and then everyone will regain their positions. So Banki trying to get onto the podium at present. And there he is, down pit lane. Left it as late as possible. Got himself a bit of airtime in doing so as well. So, you know, it worked. And there we go. Going to get back onto this podium battle. So only 2 Williams on the podium this time. And it was going to be that way regardless, because Noj is quite far ahead of Wisniewski. He's not quite had the pace in this one as Nicodem, but he's doing what he needs to do. And where is Keithley in all of this? 18th. Right in the back of Jene Simičić though. But say he doesn't need many points, but in 10 minutes to make those positions around a circuit like this, he is 3 positions off of making a single point, let alone multiple ones. Slipstreaming his way down the hill. There's no real place to make a move here unless you're brave, crazy, or stupid. Who knows? There we go, staring from the back of Jene Simičić. Jack Keithley, he'll be seeing a bit of the red mist here, but unfortunately, in a scenario like this, whoa, that's close. The only person to blame is yourself, and he will definitely know that.
Yeah, unforced error, you would say.
Very, very unforced. Well, because if he finished second, third in this race, what does it matter? He's still qualified.
Yeah.
But then, you know, we're talking about sim races and pride, so...
Maybe Stoffmeal can help him, because Stoffmeal is catching up to Santos.
Yeah, he is.
Santos
What a drive.
And Santos needs to lose 3 positions for Keithley to get ahead of him.
Yeah. I just... don't want to be a Debbie Downer or anything for any Jack Keithley fans out there, but I think it is a challenge that even the great man himself can't quite climb. You know, Mangano.
Oh, Mangano broken suspension there. First victim of the suspension damage. It's retiring out of the race.
Calls it.
And the Baldi versus Jajowski battle is quite interesting, because they're both not qualified at the moment. So this could go wild. They collided in the first race already. And if they collide again, this might change some things here.
Indeed. Which one's carrying confidence into the next shootout? Because I'm pretty sure they'll both be doing it. And with the pace they've shown, I mean, these two, had they not had that incident in the last round, you would say these two are good money for qualifying.
Yeah, but look who's coming back in the next shootout. Will be Moritz Löhner, the reigning champion, Florian Hassel, Julian Kunze, Tim Heinemann.
You can't
and
pass
Keithley.
that opportunity.
I mean, Keithley's coming back as well.
Yeah. It's going to be hard work to qualify. There was another sort of thing of this whole like qualifying thing. Only was one driver that qualified from 5 races and whatnot. And some drivers left it until the last race. Like, oh, I'll qualify for that one. I'm like, you're all leaving it to one race. You're idiots. Jack Keithley there, going to get one move done. Ooh.
Yeah, clean pass against Simoncic.
Nice one. Very nice.
So it should be Dornin, who's really not been on the pace here.
No, he's not starting out 2020 in good form, is he, Alex Dornin?
Yeah, it's usually, he's been fast in the front-wheel drive cars and also in the DTM cars. It's never really competed in the GT3 leagues. So maybe that's understandable against drivers who've done several seasons here, either on RaceRoom or on other simulations. But almost all of the drivers. I guess Simončić also is more of a Formula driver, but a lot of these drivers here have a lot of experience with GT cars. Let's see if Dornin will bounce back from that.
But like the thing is that it takes a driver of the caliber of Dornin to even get on the grid. To see him struggle, it's kind of like, oh yeah, he's struggling. We can talk about that for ages. Maybe it's past his prime or whatever. Maybe it's just not the right car for him. At the same time, he's still competing in such a strong level.
Yeah.
To even get on this grid, you've got to put in some of the best laps of your life. Putting in the best laps of his life all day. Kuba Brzezinski. The Porsche definitely wasn't favoured here. Andre Santos just ahead of Mike Stoffmeal. Both fairly unknown quantities in my book. I don't have too many pages about these two, but definitely showing themselves well here at the moment.
Andre Santos, second in the championship last year, so he's he probably should have won the championship last year, but then had a terrible round at the Sachsenring. Had a bad pit stop, but also lost all the confidence in the second race. And that's when Moritz Löhner got the title. And I think it's a bit of a lucky way to qualify here for Andre Santos.
Yeah, he would be fairly fortunate if he qualifies from this position.
Then again, he made no mistakes, kept it on the road, kept it clean.
Yeah, he's just not really showing the pace here.
Yeah. You can see Garcia almost had the same amount of points after the first race, now in 22nd.
Yeah.
Oh, Bunky's going for a move against Wisniewski here.
He's got to line it up. It's very good through T20. Is he going to throw it down the inside? We know that Merc is good in the brakes and good in the slow speed. But here comes that slipstream. Is he going to lunge inside or outside? He's giving him the outside to have a go. And if
he's
he
going
holds
for
it
it
around, he is going for it. And he's going to have the inside for the next corner, but just not good enough on the brakes. Is Ben Spanky. Nikolai Wisniewski just managed to hang on. Look at this battle pack. Alex Dornadin getting involved with Yannick Simičić, with Jack Keighley, who's cleared a lot of them.
Keithley's gone by.
And Dornadin leads now.
Oh, Blyer.
Whoa, see ya. See ya, Blyer. Off you go. Oh, the spin as well. That's a shame.
Out of the race.
Yeah, he's shown decent potential though, so definitely one to keep an eye on.
It's the same. Did this Mercedes just spin there? Looked a little bit sideways when I jumped to the other car. But just wanted to say, same for Leon Rüdiger. Also had a lot of potential here, fastest lap in the first race. But just a little bit wild, you know?
Yeah, but that'll calm down like with doing a couple more races in this. So hopefully we see more of this lot in the future. Because, well, the more competitive races in RaceRoom, the better. Yeah, to be honest. Not if you're a competitor, though.
Jihan also one of the guys who could potentially qualify later on. Didn't have the luckiest round here, but shown some good potential.
Yeah, absolutely. There's Yoski. I'd suggest that if he doesn't qualify this time, I don't think he's in on points. We'll obviously do the calculation after the race.
Yeah, he's still behind Keithley, so he's 7th at the moment.
Yeah. Definitely one I could see qualifying is Yoski. Just that first race, that incident for the pair of these two, that just really threw things under the bus. Know how Andre Santos, I think, is actually closing up to these two.
Yeah, Santos and Stoffmeal have a good pace here. I think Baldi has done something wrong with the strategy.
I think, yeah, it's not quite worked out for Mirror Esports, the second stage of this race.
Oh, and they're all gonna be very close here.
Oh, here we go. Going down towards the kink where we know that Mercedes is quick. I think he's going to have the inside, and this should be good, but no, just drops out from behind that BMW. Doesn't have the grunt to get by. I thought that was going to be done. Brzezinski at the top. He's going to get one more. One more after this. So we'll jump back to him momentarily. We'll jump back to Baldi versus Ujovski, the tightest battle on circuit at present. Yoski is close to making a move. He's close, but no cigar. Not yet, anyway. He's got one more time around this 21-turn circuit to find a position to get by the Hungarian. And then we'll recalculate those points and see what happens. He needs to do it, really, if he has any chance of qualifying. Oh, he's looking, he's lunging. Oh, it's not quite going to work, though. He's going to try and go for the cutback at T2 and get back underneath. There was a little bit of a brush on the rear end of the BMW, and I think that was just enough to slow the Mercedes down and make that move not happen. But it is close. Yovski is desperate. He's going to be looking at every corner. Gergo Bowdy is going to be under some of the heaviest pressure he's been in quite a while in RaceRoom. Certainly the most he's seen all year. What a way to start it for him. What a way to open up competition. Officially, there's contact between the two again. Bowdy is not quick at this present moment.
Oh, Jihan with the penalty. That puts Keithley into the points. Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah, we'll have to recalculate this at the end, Rob. Gergo is under a lot of pressure. I just don't think it's happening. Back up the front, though, I think Kuba Brzezinski is going to be close to the end of this one as he comes out of the third to last corner and down towards the final two. He's made some good progress. Didn't get pole position this time, but did have to make a good move for it to get the lead. And it is going to be the double for Kuba Brzezinski. Fantastic work, and you are qualified. 50 points, the full 50. David Noj behind. Wisniewski going to get third position onto the podium, and we'll recalculate who's going to qualify after this one. Back down to that battle. I think it's not changed. I think it's still going to be Gergo Bowdy just ahead of Erhan Yovski. It is indeed Andre Santos. Stoffmill, what a drive. Risto Cap in 9th. Ericsson did a good job to 10th as well.
Oh, Keithley up to 14th.
14th.
Someone dropped out. I think it was Rüdinger.
2 points. Is it enough?
Wow.
I don't think so.
I think he's missing out by 1 point.
I think if they're joint, obviously it goes back to countback, and the finishing position in this race is the countback.
Either way, Kuba Brzezinski has won.
Yeah, he's qualified. That's done. Absolutely done. Kuba Brzezinski. I mean, we knew he was good, but this good is what a way to start the year. Maybe I was saying could be the year of Jack Keithley at the start of this. Wow, could be the year of Kuba Brzezinski.
Wisniewski also 100% qualified, unless there's a penalty that we do not know of at the moment. Same goes for David Notch.
Yeah.
And Ben Spanky and Andre Santos. They just have to wait a little moment until we're done with our calculations. But we think at the moment that it will be enough for both of them.
Yeah, we'll just do those quick calculations, and then we wait 2 weeks before we go racing again. Of course, we are not confirmed on the English broadcast at the moment, but there will be the German one, if I remember correctly, Rob. So regardless, the action will be coming out to you.
Fastest lap for Keithley, P14.
He was determined, wasn't he? There's your finishers. Brzezinski, Noj, Wisniewski, Banky and Bowdy. The BMWs were strong, just not quite as strong as we expected, I guess. Whether that's a car thing or a driver thing, unsure. Put a question mark next to that. But don't doubt the might of Williams Esports. Doesn't need a setup. Obviously, everything is pretty default in this. You can change little bits, but not much.
Good to see Stoffmill, Murphy, and Simoncic in the points for the Corvettes and the Audis.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Simoncic and Murphy, like you say, done a very credible job there. Oh, what an evening of racing, Rob! Absolute madness. I'm sure you're quickly typing in some maths and doing your calculation.
Yeah, exactly. Just trying to figure out what has happened there. But maybe we can talk about your driver of the day, Lewis. I mean, not so
okay.
hard this time, I think.
Okay, no. Okay, I'm gonna remove Kuba Brzezinski from it. I'm gonna remove that because that feels a bit cheaty to me. So yeah, let me in the second race for me definitely Stoffmill. Like that is like from qualifying into the race, absolute quality, very very well done. In the first one, it's a bit tough because there were some good drives in that up and down the order. I think. Like I remember you saying about Jack Keithley and how like it was a good drive. It was a very measured drive from Keithley in the first one. Like he didn't take any unnecessary risks. Obviously in the second race, not so much. So maybe one of that lot in the first race. I'm not too sure. in the first one. There were some good showers. Yes, Ericsson would have been right up there with his drive. Unfortunately, that mistake with Stoffmeal kind of deducts a few points on that one. Same as with Bowdy. His recovery drive was pretty good as well. Same with Hanuyovsky. A few good drivers in that first one, but for me, it is Stoffmeal in the second. So there is that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think Wisniewski did a great job here.
Yeah.
As Mercedes in the end.
Yeah, a little bit under the radar, but again, did what he needed to do. I'm sure he could pass on some tips to Jack Heatley on that one, on that front. So unfortunately, the way it goes in an event like this, you just need to do what you got to do. I think though, like, we can all kind of predict it that Jack Heatley will, in air quotes, probably qualify in one of the next 3. But of course, the strength of field, as much as we lose that top 5 that have qualified, we've got some that are coming in that are just as strong. So it doesn't get any easier. It just means for Jack Heatley, there are less teammates, because obviously he's only going to have Moritz Lerner in the next one.
Yeah, well, we see if Williams brings in some more drivers. Gassner and Pinchos are part of the Williams gym team. So, certainly
they've got some
possibility.
Support, I guess you've got less fear of fighting your teammates at the front there, haven't you? If you're not staring at your team, I always used to get terrified when fighting with my teammates. I was like, oh, what if I punt them off?
I don't think that's the case with the Williams guys. I don't think they are scared.
No, they aren't. Well, I say we've seen it. We have seen it. Once we get custom liveries properly in, they'll be very happy, because it's less money, isn't it, for the changing of paintwork when they keep rubbing each other.
Yeah.
So there is that. Of course, 2 weeks' time is the next shootout, and 2 more to follow after that, and then we get the season underway. Wow, that's the shootout one.
Yeah,
good one. Good one.
We can see here the results after the first shootout, and now we will see a very awesome progression, I think, if everything works.
We'll see, won't we? You can see Brzezinski held that top and still holds that top. Oh, there we go. Andre Santos, you are right. He is, I think, fairly lucky, fairly fortunate for that mistake of Jack Keithley, because if it wasn't for that, Keithley was saying bye-bye to that lot and getting in the top 5.
Yeah, same amount of points. Tiebreaker here is the result in the second race. So that means Keithley not qualified, unless there's a penalty, of course.
Only 2 races, and Brzezinski is 18 points clear of second. Oh, monster! Wow, what a round of racing! Can't wait to watch some more. Obviously, Shootout 2 is going to be great fun. See anyone below 5th, so anyone with a black box, obviously not qualified. Expect to see them back in full force in a couple of weeks' time. There we go. Red Bull Ring and Zandvoort is up next. Then Nürburgring and Hockenheim, and then we go to the Saxon Ring twice.
Yeah, the qualifier for the second shootout is live now. It just started while the race was running. So you can jump on, start your race room, and just participate. Try to get onto the grid yourselves. Or just try to see how fast these drivers are really.
Yeah, if you think you're quick and then you go up against some of them and realise that maybe you're not, it is quite heartbreaking. So prepare yourself for that. But it is always a good experience, and of course, gets you into some RaceRoom action. There is plenty coming up in RaceRoom. If you want to know more about that, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us over on Facebook as well, and keep an eye on the content coming. I would like to say thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you, Rob, for the broadcast as well. I've been Lewis McGlade, Rob Wiesenmüller, and we'll hope to see you again in the future. Until then, goodbye.